Did I stutter?
He has time, launches it to the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams!
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
The 2011 winner of the Heisman Trophy is Robert Griffin III, RG3!
Welcome to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Langoliers, base hit to center, and the Baylor Bears win their first Big 12 tournament championship.
And their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Yep, just ready for OU.
You can't handle the truth.
Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome into the Petty Clinical OT Bears Den. It is Monday following the first weekend of March Madness, and your Baylor Bears have punched their ticket to the Sweet 16. There are 68 minus carry the one, 52 teams that will no longer be dancing that started this thing out when Baylor tips off against Villanova on Saturday. Baylor in the Sweet 16 for the fifth time since 2010. Scott Drew and the Bears are still rolling. There are 52 radio shows that started today talking about how their team lost. We're not one of them.
Not one of them. Can't relate. Couldn't be us. Couldn't be us here in Waco. I wish it could be, but it's not. It's just not.
You wish it could be that we would talk about losing?
Yeah,
this weekend?
I wish I knew what that was like. I haven't felt that in a long time.
We'll lose. We lost to Oklahoma State in that.
I don't even remember.
Wow. 254-339-1122. Impact Health Labs call line is open. Up tempo today. We're going to break down all things college basketball from the NCAA tournament round one, our reaction to the games that took place over the weekend, Baylor's win over Hartford, and Baylor's win over Wisconsin. We're going to preview Villanova today. Also, the baseball team took an 11-2 win on Sunday against the University of Texas Longhorns. Hot. If you're watching out there, listen. I get it. You got your YouTube pulled out of your phone. You're like, I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want to keep listening on YouTube. I don't want to keep listening on Twitter. I don't want to keep having to hold my phone out and keep it open on whatever app you're watching on. Well, you don't have to. Download the SicEm365 app. You download that. You hit listen. You can listen live the entire show, start to finish. Myself, Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell. We got a great guest list today as well as we talk all things college basketball. You can get in on the action at 254-339-1122. Download the SicEm365 app. If you hit listen,
it listens.
It listens to you.
It listens to you, and you can talk to it and say, hey, talk to me, and it'll talk back to you.
Because you were having a bad day, and you're like, I'm just going to go turn up tempo on. And you go to turn up tempo on.
Turn up tempo on.
And then it says, hey, what do you got for me? And you're like, what? This is supposed to be up tempo. And it's like, no. I'm here to listen to you. And then your day is made. Then you listen to up tempo.
Yeah, it's just a natural chain of events.
And if you hit watch, and make the app listen to you, but I just want to tell you, you got tan over the weekend.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You go out and watch some baseball or something?
No, I wish I did. I went for a super brief run. It was going to be a walk. A lot of flies around. Turned into a run. And then I was at a wedding on Sunday.
Oh, how was the wedding?
It was good. It was someone who got married a year ago, and they redid their wedding sort of thing. So it was actually a lot of fun.
Wow.
Good time. Yeah.
Baylor and Wisconsin this weekend. How about, Baylor was up by almost 20 there at a point where I was like, okay, this is it. And Wisconsin's not great. They're 18-13 to finish the year, 10-10 in Big Ten play. So they were pretty mediocre, but it's March, and literally anything can happen in March as we've seen so far. And that just was that. Wow. What what's even crazier? There are a lot of crazy things that happened over the weekend that we're going to break down across March Madness in the bracket. I think, what would you say the biggest upset that just busted your bracket was?
The conventional answer would be Oral Roberts, right?
Right.
Like Oral Roberts, I don't think anybody had, absolutely just bodied everybody. Illinois losing to Loyola, I had Illinois in my Final Four, and like my bracket already wasn't great, but Illinois losing, just absolute dagger to the abdomen. That hurt. I mean, Sister Jean was playing no games with my bracket.
Sister Christian, you're the only one.
I don't know that one, but she absolutely destroyed my bracket. Did you see her prayer too?
Yeah.
Her prayer was like a scouting report.
They only hit 50% from the field and 30% at the behind the arc. We can take care of that.
You think God was like, she's got a good point.
Takes notes.
She's got a good point.
I tweeted, shameless plug to my tweet, but I was like, look, if Sister Jean just prays that I win $1 million, at this point, like, she took Loyola Chicago to the Final Four almost single-handedly.
She put the whole team on her back. Jan sported
Who's the big
entire
guy?
program.
I forget the big guy's name. Who's their big guy?
Kurt something. Kurt's a mustache guy.
Krzyzewski.
Is that what his name is?
Nope.
Something like that.
Speaking of
but
buddy,
he's going to be a bucket at 24-hour fitness in about a year or two.
They did. They were like, he'll be 55, just jacking up shots at the old fitness center. He's unbelievable. And why is he good? I don't really know.
Crafty, thick.
How about I think so? I actually had Oral Roberts picked as one of my top 10 upsets.
Yes, you did.
It's on my list that Oral Roberts was going to beat Ohio State. I wasn't that confident in it, but I liked it. I loved Kansas losing, and they were down by 8. They were down by 8 at halftime.
They should have lost. They should have lost to that team.
They should have lost. I was watching LIU and Illinois, and it never felt like Illinois was going to come back.
Yeah, there was times where you thought maybe Illinois could just get them because they were outmatched. Like when they gave it down to Cockburn down low, like there was nothing that Loyola Chicago could do. But they had 3 guys on him, so they denied the ball so well against him. So that was interesting to see Loyola Chicago play just better team defense than Illinois could handle. So I wanted to see more from DeSumo in that game too. That was frustrating.
This on the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line says, "Go Hogs!" Exclamation point. All right.
What do you think about that? That's
Arkansas and Baylor are going to meet in the Elite Eight. Arkansas and Baylor are going to meet in the Elite unless Oral Roberts beats Arkansas. Do you think the Oral Roberts can sustain any further than it's already gone?
I mean, conventional wisdom would say no, but given the fact that they've already beat Florida. And who they beat in the first round? Ohio State. I'm not betting against Oral Roberts at this point.
He's in a number 1 seed. Here's the deal with that Loyola Chicago team. It's the same freaking team that went to the Final Four.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, half these guys have been here. They're all 30 now. They have 12 years of eligibility. They're coming back next year, too. Krutwig's not going to be an NBA player.
I think he'll make his money playing basketball, whether it's G League, overseas. Maybe he sneaks on to an NBA roster for a time. You don't think so?
No.
I guarantee you he'll get a 10-day.
See him?
He'll get a 10-day.
You know what he is?
I saw what he did to Illinois. That was filthy. That was borderline abusive. I can't believe they showed that on TV because he abused that Illinois team.
He's the ultimate Loyola Chicago player where you're like, you look 45 already, and you're going to be 45 until you're 45, at which point you'll be 60.
He's like a poor man's Joker for Denver.
Joker?
Yeah.
How about that? Jack Wheeler says, what a time to be alive. We're in the Sweet 16, and Texas proves once again that they do less with more. Yeah. I had Texas all the way to the Final Four on this show.
What are you going to do? It's just UT's going to UT, you know?
Okay, of the 8 teams that are currently in the Sweet 16, guess how many I had?
3.
JD?
I'm going to... is it low? Is it a low number? I was going to give you of the 8 teams that are in Sweet 16.
So, because currently half the Sweet 16 is full.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to guess you had 2.
2 is correct.
Really?
I have 2.
I only had Baylor and Houston.
Baylor and Houston.
Baylor and Houston are the only teams I
How?
had. I had West Virginia in the Final Four. They're gone. I had Texas in the Final Four. They were gone. Yeah. Wow. This is just...
See, the same texter says go Hogs. It's a 501 number. Says, dude doesn't know Sister Christian, but the kid does. Tragic. Knight Rider. We gotta teach you some music.
Dude doesn't know. Dude, no, I don't think you guys understand. I played 3 number 1 hits. 3 number 1 hits in the world on Music Monday, and y'all knew none of them.
Yeah,
so don't come to talk to me about. No. Yeah, they were modern.
I didn't know.
They were modern hits.
I'm proud.
We can talk about music. We can go there. Don't worry about that. We can go there.
Wow. We got T-Rex on the phone line. T-Rex, wait 1 second. Let's hit some of these texts on the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line 254-339-1122 Texas. Scotty B. the Baylor King says after looking at Villanova, they have only 7 guys who have played 20 games or more this year. They do have 2 other guys who have played 12 or less. Villanova bench doesn't scare me. He said, first win for Baylor women's tennis over Oklahoma State in almost 6 years. And he says he called the Loyola Chicago beating Illinois happening, and he did. I think he sent a text into the Impact Health Labs text line. Caller line. Villanova doesn't scare me that much. I think Baylor's going to go to the Elite Eight, play Arkansas probably, which is going to be quite the matchup. But yeah, baseball got to win, softball got to win, both the tennises got to win. Oregon's playing Iowa right now. Another one of these. 2 down, 4 to go. 2 down, 4 to go. What a great morning to be a Baylor Bear. This is up-tempo. That's nice. That's a good little touch.
Someone put that in there?
I don't know. They didn't. Some people don't sign these texts. You got to sign your text so we know who you are.
That's good, though.
Jack Wheeler says, what a time to be alive. You say Crutwig can't play in the NBA, but let me introduce you to a man named Alex Caruso. It's a great point. I look at Alex Caruso.
Caruso's a dog.
And I'm like, there's Luka Garza's warming up right now,
guy.
too.
He did G League, made his way into the league. Like, he's a stud. He made his name. Scotty B, probably the most well-rounded Baylor fan that we have.
He's an analyst.
Continuing to call it, continuing to write it.
Continuing to bring stuff to the table. Good content to the table. And then Garrett Geiger says, does Nova make you all nervous? Real quick before we get T-Rex on here, does Nova make you nervous?
No, I think they were built for the run they've made so far. I think coaching will take them as far as they have.
I'm surprised.
They don't have the talent.
I'm surprised they made it this far. I thought they'd lose to Winthrop.
I had them beating Winthrop just because I thought they would rally with Gillespie going down, but they don't have the talent to make the run they need to make.
And they're off. Iowa and Oregon have just tipped off. We got T-Rex on the Impact Health Labs caller line. T-Rex. It says auto screen. It says Kira. Kyrie lays it down the road that I've less traveled. Nobody? You guys got to do better at the 80s. T-Rex, you were alive in the 80s, right?
I was not alive in the 80s.
Gosh, dang it. So close. T-Rex is only 24.
I was alive in the negative 80s.
He's a dinosaur. Yeah.
24 BC.
There's no way T-Rex is 24.
Yeah.
T-Rex was alive in the negative 80s.
18,000 million BC.
18,000 million BC. Something like that.
Before championship, which we're currently just a few weeks away from. How y'all doing this morning, guys? I'm just so elated that, how it just felt so good to know that UT Mike, our long-lost friend that we haven't heard of for so long, actually.
Where is UT Mike?
He has nothing to say.
It was a double whammy. You got Baylor taking care of business, not even sweating it, and UT losing to essentially a JV college basketball team. A lot of fun. Feeling good this morning.
Feeling great this morning.
Hey, I'm glad you do. As somebody who went to school in Abilene, I went to McMurray, which is in Abilene. I was taught to hate ACU. We didn't like them. They came to the bar on our side of town. They tried to take our girls back and forth. But man, it was nice to be a Wildcat the other night. So props to ACU. I still don't like you because that's just how it works. But really Church of Christ took down Texas, so good for them, I guess.
ACU Church
Smart from back in the day.
No kidding. Oral Roberts has a curfew. Did y'all know that? Or you have to be back in your dorm at a certain time.
ACU has a curfeu. Their girls had to be back on campus by like 11 o'clock in the dorm, so we always knew that ACU girls were at the bar, and we didn't try to take them home because we couldn't.
This is a military academy? What's going on here?
Eliosis Gonzaga.
Family, man.
He was named patron of all Christian youth by Pope Pius XI. Oh, nice. Well, how about that, Gonzaga?
The more you know, man. T-Rex is a man of fact.
T-Rex is a dinosaur of facts. T-Rex, what did you think about Saturday's game? You think Saturday's performance sustains a win against Villanova?
We didn't play on Saturday. Saturday?
Sunday's game. My bad.
Sorry, it's a Monday morning, man. It's Monday morning. We're working.
Yeah.
Hey, I think that we still had a little bit of dust. The first game was against Hartford. No disrespect to them, but we could make a lot of mistakes, and it didn't really matter. We played a little tougher team. Wisconsin's not a bad team. They made it to the round of 32. I think we got to clean up our alley-oop attempts, and we got to finish at the rim. But I think we giving up that huge, I think it was 18-point lead at one point that we had. This team, I feel like still at times forgets to step on the neck of the opponent. They need to drive in the dagger. So it's only going to get harder from here. But I got a good feeling against Villanova. We would have taken care of them earlier in the year, but they cried, and so did the state of, I forgot what state that was that wouldn't let us play them. But they're going to learn this weekend that they should have just got that loss out of the way earlier in the year. So I feel good. We're going to take care of business. And then maybe we play, a former. I think we could potentially play Oral Roberts in the Elite Eight.
Yep.
If my bracketology is correct. So that would be fun just to play a former assistant, and unfortunately knock them out. But I have a good feeling. I'm not a man to say that we are going to be in the Final Four, but I believe we will be. And I booked my flight last night, to Indianapolis for that little stretch of time. So hopefully, in a couple, this time on our phone call, Tuesday morning, we'll be talking about the Final Four. So, SicEm Bears, man, I just feel so good. I just feel so good. I mean, it's a Monday morning. It's raining where I'm at right now, but that's okay. Those are just Longhorn tears coming down because they realize that they're still never going to fire Shaka Smart because they're just not smart.
Extend Shaka. I think Armstrong tweeted out, extend Shaka. I think Cole tweeted something that I really agree with. He's like, I want to see this Baylor team play mean, especially in the second half. You kind of want Baylor, especially right now in March, to really have that killer instinct and hone in on that. They're going to need to do that, especially in the Elite Eight, Final Four, when they play some more of these more powerful programs outside of Villanova, when they get to the Gonzagas, when they get to, I have them playing Bama in the championship, so who knows how my bracket is going to go. But all things considered, I'm with you. They got to have that killer instinct. They got to find it if they want to be able to win the national championship.
T-Rex, Bear Games question of the day today. If Baylor had a sister Jean, who would it be? Who is Baylor's sister Jean?
I don't know if he's listening because he's a teacher, or he's at school, but Chris Fuentes.
Chris Fuentes. I think that applies. You and him in the same verse, though. You could be Sister Jean, T-Rex.
Yeah, God.
I'll be interested to see how many people say T-Rex.
Yeah, can I be called Sister Jean? Like, can they actually call me that?
Yeah, we'll call you. We'll call you Sister Jean. We'll call you Sister Jean. That's fine with me. And then T-Rex, your Bear Games.
I would love to meet her one day.
I would too. We gotta hurry. Dead or never mind. Disney movie madness: Toy Story 2 or Ratatouille?
Toy Story 2. I've never even watched Ratatouille.
Nice. Finding Dory or Wall-E?
Wall-E.
Really?
Finding Dory. Oh, you must be a progressive.
Never saw Wall-E.
This guy's a progressive.
Don't you ever call me a progressive. Don't you ever.
Oh, my goodness. T-Rex, thanks for your phone call as always.
SicEm Bears.
Wow!
I never saw Wall-E. Wall-E good?
It's about, like, saving the world. There comes a time...
They're all about saving the world.
When you heed a certain call.
Wall-E is the most polarizing Pixar movie.
World.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about Wall-E.
You either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
Right. They'll be like, it's the best one or it's the worst one.
And also the entire concept is like, the human race is dying. Yeah. It's killing itself. And you're like,
it's interesting, but...
It's a, what a concept.
I guess I'm on board with
Universe,
that.
What a concept.
I mean, it's good. It's good how they make you fall in love with a robot that can't speak.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I guess this can speak, but I'm in love with this robot. You know what I'm saying?
Jimmy Blower says Mark Vidal's the greatest Baylor player in program history. Shout out to Armstrong Sims.
Wow.
Blower.
Wow.
And on that note, Oral Roberts making its way to the Sweet 16 past Ohio State and then past Florida, which Florida wasn't that tough of a matchup for them. One of the things that John Boyce has a video out there that's like, it's talking about how NCAA March Madness is just the loser realm where there's so many losers. It is the game of losers. Everyone loses but one team.
63 losers.
Right. But also with that the 16 seed has the exact same likelihood of making a Final Four or national championship run as a 1 seed past the first round. Because they retake that 1 seed's path to the national championship. So it's much tougher to be a 5 seed. The path that you get as a 5 seed is far tougher than the path you get as a 16 seed past round 1.
I'm not sure if I'm sold on that.
Mathematically. That's how it is. Because think about the path of what's easier, the path of a 1 seed or the path of a 5 seed?
For Gonzaga playing...
No.
Okay, listen to me.
In general.
Path of a 1... Okay, but it's different for different teams. Like Gonzaga playing Oklahoma versus Norfolk State playing Oklahoma. Very different game.
But what is it easier path? The 1 seed path or the 5 seed path?
For a 1 seed path.
A 1 seed.
For a 16 seed, they're all tough. It's equally tough, I would say.
No. When you think about it, after you get past game 1, they now take the 1 seed's path to the national championship. So the 1 seed has the easiest path of anybody in the bracket.
Okay.
So if the 16 UMBC knocks off the 1, the 16 at that point then has what?
I'm on board with what you're saying.
The easiest path of the bracket.
I'm on board with what you're saying. I don't Okay, I see what you're saying. I'm not sure I'm totally on board with like the logic of it, but I see how you're saying like the 1 seed mathematically has the easier path.
They do.
I see what you're saying.
Right. So then if a 16 seed would take the place of a 1 seed, they would then have the easiest path. Because you'd much rather be a 16 seed taking a 1 seed. Would you rather have a 1 seed's path to the final or 5 seeds?
No. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, I don't think that necessarily gives like the 16 seed better odds than the 5 seed who beat the 12 seed.
Right. You got to factor in the round 1 game.
Yeah.
But after round 1, then yes, it is better odds. Because now.
You think so?
Yeah.
So you're saying App State beats Gonzaga. They play Oklahoma. Creighton beats UCSB. They play Ohio. You would much rather have App State and Oklahoma versus you think App State has a better chance at beating Oklahoma than Creighton would of beating Ohio. Is that what I'm checking this logic.
I'm saying you got to think of it in terms of like if the 12 seed. So the logic, yes, is there. They 100% have a better shot of beating the higher seed. I guess
I see how the path is easier.
Right. But the upsets, you got to factor in upsets. But
I guess
even then,
they would be playing Virginia.
Yeah, like in terms of seeding.
But Ohio won.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, but I'm thinking like they're still the 16 seed the rest of the way. So I think like their odds for them winning the tournament aren't better, but I get how their path becomes easier.
How about this? We got By the Numbers says Ken Palm has Wisconsin at 13, Villanova at 12. Bart Torvik has Wisconsin at 13, Villanova at 14. Evan Miyakawa?
Okay.
We know him.
Okay.
He has Wisconsin at 9, Villanova at 19. So efficiency-wise, we're playing a similar team to Wisconsin from an efficiency and analytics standpoint, and I don't think Baylor's going to have any trouble. Jack Wheeler says Dr. Eric Holloman is Baylor's sister Jean.
Who's that?
Yeah, got to call us in.
Call
us and tell us. I don't know Eric. T-Rex says no. The 1 seed path.
If he was the best, if he was the best player in the tournament, like they said he was, he should have carried him past an Oregon State team they should have beaten handily.
Yeah.
Oregon State's hot. And Cade Cunningham. Yeah, go ahead.
He wasn't even the best player on the floor. He wasn't even the best player on the floor last night.
They ran him out of the gym. They ran that whole team out of the gym. That was maybe the worst blowout. Granted, the score got close, but that was the worst blowout that I've seen because Oregon State did whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, and now they're moving on to 12 seed.
Is that a commentary on Cade Cunningham though, or on Oklahoma State?
I think it's on Cade Cunningham a little
bit. Is it?
Think about what he's done. In the games that they dominate and win, what does he do? He puts up a 30-piece.
Yeah, which tells me that he has nothing else around him. They need Cade Cunningham. in order to beat
they have Isaac Likely. They have.
Well, he puts up 30 when they win, and if he doesn't,
If he wanted that help, he should have gone somewhere else.
Yeah, no, completely. But yeah, I think he's probably thinking about NBA probably before he even graduates high school.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
True.
I'm not sold on the Cade Cunningham being a fraud argument yet, but I see what you're saying. And I would definitely be willing to entertain
Avery
that.
Anderson, Isaac Likely, Matthew Alexander Moncrief.
What else? What's the second best player on Oklahoma State averaging?
Give me a second. G-Dub, what do you got?
I want to run through y'all my pre-spring ball.
Yes.
Just the skill position.
Love it.
So quarterback. I've got Zeno starting for right now. We got to see how that plays out. Running back Ebner, wide receiver 1 Thornton, wide receiver 2 RJ, wide receiver 3 Gavin Holmes or Ellis. Tight end either Ben Sims or Dabney.
Henley too. Henley's going to be in the mix too. I think he's a big body. I'd like to mix him around. I like that depth chart. I think I might flip Snead and Thornton based on what Snead did a year ago. Holmes will be that 3 guy. He's more of a slot player anyway. I think like pure talent-wise though, dude, Thornton is special. Like he could be a guy that is an All-American this season. It's too bad he was hurt last year, but if we got a quarterback, he'd be special.
Yeah, when he's healthy, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
G-Dub, Bear Games question of the day today, and I'll be there actually on Wednesday. I'm gonna go check out the spring ball practice.
Oh, there we go.
G-Dub, if Baylor had a sister Jean, who would it be?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Royce O'Neal because because he's always tweeting about, but he's still Baylor through and through. And I just think that's really cool.
Big Royce.
He has time even in the league.
The alumni sticking to it. And then GW, like Wally or Finding Dory?
I haven't never seen Finding Dory, so gotta go with Wally.
Say to what you know.
Toy Story 2 or Ratatouille?
Ratatouille. Toy Story 2 is kind of
Yeah. All right, GW, thanks for your call.
Yes, sir.
The boy.
When she
How about Bruce Geetson for Sister Jane? How about your boy Bruce Geetson?
Why Bruce Geetson?
How about Bruce Geetson, man?
What about him would be like
the face of the Baylor journalism program? He's been around a little bit. How about it? How about Bruce Geetson?
Armstrong, who's Bruce Geetson?
We've had her on the show.
Yep. Okay. See, I think it's gonna be a little bit more popular.
I'll be honest. I don't know anybody else that's been named so far.
I think President Livingstone.
See, is that cool to say? Like, is she too young for us to say that?
Jack Wheeler, Impact Health Labs caller line. Jack, we haven't heard from you in a long time. Armstrong was just telling us about how you're the best roommate he has. Contrary to someone else that lives in the house, it's about 7 feet tall and super hairy.
Oh, yeah, I got to tell you. I mean, I appreciate that, Armstrong. You know, I got a lot of love for you right here in my heart.
Right in his heart, Armstrong. You're not even going to respond to him?
I got a lot of love for my father, Jack Wheeler, as well.
Jack, who's your sister Jean that you're telling us about?
All right. Dr. Eric Hollyman was my scriptures professor when I was a student a long time ago. And this is a man, now think of Matthew McConaughey if he was in his late 50s, early 60s, had a southern strong Mississippi accent and taught scriptures. That's Eric Hollyman.
Wow. I'm gonna try to see if we can find a picture of him and get him up there. I'm sure that he would be flattered. I also had a great scriptures. Did you ever take scriptures?
No.
Never took scriptures.
No.
Did you even go to Baylor then?
No.
Wow. You know, Jack, he looks like he's just that sweet Southern man that just the drawl. I can see the drawl there. Drawl.
He's an absolutely wonderful human being and incredible person. Was one of the best professors I ever had at Baylor. I will defend that man for the rest of my life of how great a professor he is. And people can, I would say, take him. Best professor I ever had. Take
Holloman for scriptures. Lock that in when you're building your schedule. Jack, what'd you think about the game the other day? You think Baylor's got a legitimate shot? How confident are you, I should say, in Baylor going to the Final Four?
Well, you know, I'm kind of like you that I think we can do it, but I don't want to build my hopes up so much right now that I set myself up for a disappointment. So I've always said I'm going to stay at a 6. I think we can do it, but I don't want to set in stone like it's for sure we're going to do it because the tournament's crazy. Yeah. And there are a lot of people that thought, hey, we got the Final Four locked in, like Illinois thought the other day, and look what happened.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Movie Madness today, Jack Wheeler. We got Wally or Finding Dory?
You know, I do like Wally, but I will say Finding Dory.
Yeah, I like that pick.
Yeah,
I like that pick.
You got to go Finding Dory. Toy Story 2 or Ratatouille?
Yeah,
I think it's a Ratatouille.
He
That
did.
sounded like Ratatouille.
Another
to me.
Ratatouille. Jeez.
Good call.
Toy Story 2's getting
I really like Toy Story 2, though.
Toy Story 2 is great, but I mean, Ratatouille was just
It was really good. No, it was it was also not a sequel, which I think helps its case.
That's a great point. Jack Wheeler, thanks for your call, man. And Eric Holliman, lock it in.
See you, boys, and shout out to Dylan Doyle.
Shout out to Dylan Doyle. DD all day.
Dylan Doyle, DD all day. Matt and DC talking Sweet 16. Guys, I have never once, Matt and DC, now that you're on, I have never once been just a full-on, like full-fledged, 100% supporter of a program that has made a Sweet 16. You know, I grew up an Arkansas fan, followed Baylor, but that was still my A1 team until I got to Baylor. Now that Baylor's my A1, my whole heart, this is the first time that I've had a team that I love and want to see succeed, make a Sweet 16, and there are so many other teams. There are 16 teams still alive in college basketball competing for the ultimate prize. Only 16, and the school that I go to, that I love, that I support, is one of them. That's unbelievable. Matt and DC, welcome on to Uptempo.
How's it going? How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
Sweet Caroline.
Sweet 16. Sweet, sweet victory. And sweet, sweet 16. Wow.
Yep.
Matt and DC, does it feel like with the other Baylor Sweet 16s, does this one feel like it's more sustainable? You know, there were the Sweet 16s were like, you know, any day now it could end. Any day now it could end. Another James Taylor.
I guess looking back, I mean, yeah, because, I mean, I always go back to, I mean, the most magical run, I think, up until maybe this year we'll surpass it, was that 2010 run. But that one just kind of came out of nowhere, and it was just fun. But we knew eventually we were going to run to, like, the Elite Eight, and we weren't really, like, a team that was, like, full of superstars. We just caught fire. And then I think in 2014 we knew, like, we're going to have a good team, but we ran into Wisconsin then, which I called it then they were going to beat that undefeated Kentucky team. So,
good.
I mean, every year is different, but this one is looking really good right now, especially with taking down Wisconsin and then Ohio State getting knocked out. So we ain't got to worry about them. I mean, I'm not worried about the other 16 other teams. I only got to play just a couple of them. So right now Oregon's taking care of Iowa. So, I mean, Luka who right now?
Yeah.
Okay, Luka who?
Yeah. I like that matchup almost better if we got Iowa, truthfully.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And I think, hey, Oklahoma could take down the Zags because the Zags ain't played nobody. So, hey, we'll see. But, hey, it's a magical run. It's awesome. Enjoy all of it because it could be over Saturday even if we play great. You know, we just got to make shots. One thing we can't have is Jared Butler getting in foul trouble with, 15 minutes left in the game and having to sit out. So, we just got to clean that up and keep making our shots, keep rebounding. And it's a Music Monday today, right?
Music Monday today.
Music Monday, baby.
All right. I think we got to give a shout-out to Abilene Christian, if y'all can find the song Abilene by George Hamilton.
I bet you we can. How about Sister Jean, Matt and DC? Who would be Baylor's Sister Jean?
See, I thought about this, and I don't know if you ever heard of this guy. There's an old Baylor fan that I forgot his name. I couldn't find it, but he used to travel to almost every single sporting event, including, like, the track meets.
No way. Wow.
And I'm not sure if I'm not sure if he's still alive, but maybe Smoak knows his name. But there's an old school Baylor fan that went to as many sporting events and track meets as like Chris Fuentes does. So I think that would be the guy if we can find his name.
Okay.
Chris and T-Rex both go to a lot of them. You ever seen these movies we got going on today? Wally and Finding Dory.
I've seen Wally. I'll take Wally.
Take Wally in that one. That one's split right now.
Throw what you know.
And Ratatouille or Toy Story 2?
No one even knows what Ratatouille is. It's Toy Story 2 all the way. Come on.
Old fighting words.
That's a good
Armstrong
one.
looks mad. Armstrong looks very angry.
I like
right
Toy
now,
Story
Matt
2.
and DC.
I think that's a good take.
Wow.
There's a lot of good plot lines in Toy Story 2.
Matt and DC, thanks for your call.
Thank you.
I love it.
He's a good guy.
How about, let's see what we got right here. Twitter says, Oral Roberts coach Paul Mills opens his news conference. There's a gospel hymn that says, praise God for whom all blessings flow. Wow, the doxology.
Yeah, there it
Paul
is.
Mills drops the doxology
Right off
on the
the bat.
reporters at March Madness. The Baylor culture, man. How about the Christian schools?
Dude, they're unstoppable. You want to talk about madness?
Yeah. Good luck.
Christian schools, betting. I think it was Andrew Robertson said good luck betting against God.
Yeah, good luck betting against God. Dude. That's a T-shirt. Can we
talk about Baylor fans for a second? I feel like Baylor fans are so nervous to root for their team, and I don't necessarily understand why.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like every caller we get or every person texts in says, I feel good, but I don't know. Like, I don't want Baylor to do this, that, and the other. Like, you have arguably the best team in the country. They haven't shown any slip-ups that don't make sense in my mind. Like, why don't people want to just root confidently for Baylor and say, yeah, like, we're that dog this year. We're that top dog this year. Let's go. Like, let's ride. If we lose, we'll be surprised. But, like, I get you don't want to be let down.
I can tell you why.
But why can't we just be confident in Baylor?
I can tell you why.
Tell me why.
Because Baylor fans aren't Texas fans. And
I'd be less confident of Texas.
The one downfall of being a Texas fan, the one downfall of the Texas fan base is the fact that is their fan base. They're the fan base that, we have a chip on our shoulder. Oh, this is our year. Oh, we're the top dogs. And even when they are, it's just annoying. And they lose every time. Baylor fans have the underdog mentality. It's the mentality is not like every game we go into, Baylor by 20. Every game we go into, Baylor's going to win this. It's, hey, we're going to do what we do. We're going to be classy. We're going to be confident, but not cocky. We're going to have that different, maybe a cocky edge to us, but not be arrogant about it. And Baylor fans aren't arrogant. I think Baylor fans handle themselves really well by saying, hey, Jeremy says, it's because I was at the UNLV football game. You just never get your hopes up. Just never get your hopes up.
That's different. Like, underdog and not confident are very different things. Like, underdog saying, like, hey, it might not be our day, but we're going to go for it, as opposed to, I don't know how we're going to do this year. Those are two very different things. I think we're hearing a lot.
I don't know if we've ever heard that. I don't know how we're going to do it.
I've heard we're a 6 on confidence. Like, why are we a 6 about our confidence against a team like Villanova? Villanova is shorthanded. We are the better team. They have a better, like, metrics-wise, talent-wise, all of it.
Because
like, why are we not feeling?
Because
of course
anything can happen.
But why not just ride with your boys and be like, yeah, we're the better team. Let's ride. Like, why is that so hard for us to get behind? Like, I feel like there's not like a sense of belief.
Again, it's because we're not Texas. I think there's a belief is there, but the belief is there, but it's not the overconfidence. The arrogance is not there. Baylor fans, I like the caution a little bit. I like the, hey, here's the deal. Here's what caution does. Here's what caution does. If you set a precedent that it is sweet, it is Elite Eight, Final Four, or bust, right? If you set that precedent, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because the second that you don't meet that goal that you've set, it's like, oh, well, the whole season's a wash. Oh, the whole season doesn't matter. But what Baylor fans do so well is they love the team, they love the program, they love each other. It's a family of fans, and they don't want to ruin that by setting expectations that are so high. When they're not met, it ruins everything.
You can love everybody just as well with having high expectations. Lower expectations does not mean
I don't think
that,
they have low expectations.
The lowering expectations, you said if you're saying it's Final Four, Elite Eight, or bust. But if, like, you can expect it of your team and love them the same way, I think you almost love a team more if you're saying, hey, I expect this of you because you're capable of doing
I think
that.
It is expected. It's expected. Okay. At the same time, there is a certain level of caution, so you guard. Baylor fans guard their heart.
That's good.
Baylor fans guard their heart.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine because I'll tell you why Baylor fans don't go with the mentality that, oh, every game we're going to win by 20, you know?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Oklahoma, Baylor, the college game day football game, right? Baylor's up 28-3. They blow a lead that a football team should never blow.
Right.
31-10 at halftime. The game was in their hands. Chance to go to the national championship, playoff, be that top dog. They had it right there for themselves, okay? Big regular season, Big 12 champion, everything.
Yep.
Baylor loses that game. I can tell you there are so many fan bases in the country that would have started booing, fan bases that would have booed the team off the field and been, I'm done, there's no point, this team's awful. There are a lot of fan bases that are like that.
Sure.
But I remember Charlie Brewer throws an interception, Oklahoma takes a knee, and as the team's walking off the field, out breaks the chant, BU, BU. 45,000 people chanting BU.
Yeah.
You know, in a moment where everyone's so dejected and down. But hey, here's the thing. That's the love and the passion that Baylor fans have for their program. They didn't set that unrealistic precedent that, like, oh, we're going to go out there and win every game by 20. You know, they said, hey, I'm going to guard my heart and understand that anything can happen in my game. I'm going to root for these Bears as hard as I can, but I'm not going to sit here and arrogantly tell you they're going to win this game. I want to watch what plays out, root for them, and no matter what happens, I'm going to love them unconditionally.
It's arrogance if you're a 4 seed, if you're anything below that. You're the number 2 team, arguably, in the whole country.
Then what do you want? Just 10 confidence? Is that what you're asking for?
I want realistic confidence in what this team is. They are, majority of brackets have them and Gonzaga in the final, right? Probably. I don't know the exact numbers, but you would assume. So it is with good confidence that you can assume that Baylor is one of the best teams in the country. You can believe that Baylor is going to win most of their games they're playing right now. Like, you can believe Baylor's going to beat Villanova, going to advance to the Final Four, like all these things. I don't like that there's too much caution. Like, when you see it with your own eyes, and we've seen it time and time and again with our own eyes with this team, it's okay to be like, yeah, we're probably going to win this game. And arrogance is only arrogance if it's misplaced. I don't think there's any arrogance that's misplaced with this team.
What about Kansas on the road, though, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, Baylor has shown that Oklahoma State.
What do you want me to say?
You know,
the third time playing one of the best players in the country.
Baylor has shown that lost to Oregon State, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Baylor has shown that they're not indestructible.
I think all their losses, like we talked about this, they played the best team, the best player in the country, played that team 3 times. So it's hard to beat any team 3 times. They played at Kansas, at a tough place to play.
Do you hear excuses?
A tough place to play.
Do you hear excuses?
No, I'm giving you my explanation as to why these are reasonable losses.
They are reasonable losses.
Yes.
I don't think they need to be excused, though. They're just
not being
times.
excused, but these there's explanations as to why they lost those games. They just not show up.
There's not an explanation. Somebody mentioned this on Twitter, and I think I love it. They were like, why every time a team loses, fans have to blame it on something.
No, I don't think you can look to say, hey, this attributed to that loss. Like, do you think Baylor loses to Oklahoma State without, like, if Baylor plays Kansas healthy at Fog Allen without COVID, do you think they lose that game?
Yeah, they could.
No,
they very well could.
They don't.
Yeah, they
the
very
way they
well
were
could.
rolling, they beat that team by 8 or 11 at home, whatever it was before that guy hit a 3-pointer.
I don't know what it was. Maybe anything can happen. I'm fine with that mentality.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that mentality. I'm fine with not being the fan base. It's just like
no one's saying be me, but everyone's saying be confident that you have the second best team in the country and ride it out. Like, let's go. Let's have a little bit of swag about us. Swag and arrogance very different. Let's ride that. Let's go.
I think we have some swag. I think Scott Drew has some swag.
Oh, he definitely
Matthew
has
Meyer has some swag.
He's got a lot.
I think Baylor fans have, but Baylor fans don't want to be the annoying fan base.
You can be confident without being annoying.
Oh, it's tough. That's tough sometimes.
The great ones do it.
You know who's not an annoying fan base?
I'm between a lot of different teams right now. I would say Nebraska's not an annoying fan base.
Oh.
Nebraska's not an annoying fan base.
Why? Why would you say that? They so are.
They're so not.
They so
They
are.
sell out every single year football season, and their team is atrocious.
I'm saying on like Twitter. I don't mean like you're annoyed by their presence. I'm saying not like they're annoyed by the way.
Do you have like Nebraska people just in your mentions just blowing you up?
Man,
No,
you ever see like when someone,
you don't.
Not
Stop.
in my mention. Not in my. But
You've
I'm saying
never seen Nebraska
when you
slander on Twitter.
You 100% have. When the
Stop.
whole Scott Frost thing went down, Nebraska fans,
Scott
man.
Frost thing.
When he said, or when they weren't going to play Oklahoma, when they were scared to play Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah, they were trying to reschedule, but they ended up scheduling. You know, even Nebraska fans were saying, no, we want to play this game. Like, don't put this on us. This is the administration. We want to play this game.
I think they were. I would say Nebraska. I wouldn't put Nebraska. You know who I'd put up there? I'd put Gonzaga up there.
As not annoying?
As not annoying.
Dude.
I haven't
don't
seen
know.
any Gonzaga fans on Twitter. They're like, oh, yeah. You know?
Is that what people tweet like usually in other fan bases?
I bet I could probably make it. I could probably spell that out.
I bet
for you.
Gonzaga probably has some annoying fans.
could
Also,
probably spell
Gonzaga, like, basketball is all they have in Gonzaga. Like, there's nothing else Gonzaga does. They don't play. I couldn't tell you one other good sporting event that they, like, succeed at.
Yeah, I can't either.
Like, that's all they got.
Gymnastics, maybe. Also, we're going to get fired.
Why?
We haven't gone to a single commercial break.
It was a good run.
You ready to hear the bing, bing, bing?
I'm ready.
I'm ready to do the bing, bing, bing. I'm Drake Toll. It's J.D. Pickell, Armstrong, Sims. When we come back, we're going to talk Baylor Villanova on Saturday and play a little bit of Music Monday. Call us at 254-339-1122 to play Music Monday with us. This is Up Tempo. Bing, bing, bing.
There it is.
Sweet, sweet victory and sweet, sweet 16. The Bears are still dancing after a solid 79-55 win over Hartford and a 76-63 win over Wisconsin to secure their spot as one of the last 16 teams alive in March Madness. Baylor will meet Villanova on Saturday with a place in the Elite Eight on the line. The winner of Saturday's game will face either Arkansas or Cinderella Oral Roberts. On the women's side, Baylor obliterated Jackson State 101-52 in round 1 in San Antonio. Kim Mulkey and company now have their sights set on 7-seed Virginia Tech in round 2. Elsewhere in Baylor sports, the baseball team dropped 2 hard-fought and tight games against number 10 Texas to start the weekend, but bounced back to absolutely hammer the Longhorns 11-2 on Sunday. The softball team split a pair of games against Houston, falling 3-1 on Saturday and securing a 2-1 walk-off win on Sunday. And the women's tennis team notched a pair of hard-earned victories over the weekend with a 4-3 win over number 32 Oklahoma and a 6-1 win over number 31 Oklahoma State. The men's tennis team knocked off Louisiana and Dallas Baptist 6-1 and 7-0 respectively. The women's golf team also finished 5th at the Mountain View Collegiate Classic in Saddlebrook, Arizona. And lest we forget, 3-seed Texas fell to 11-seed Abilene Christian on Saturday to end the Longhorns' season. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With your Ram truck from Allen Samuels, you may not have to plow through snow and mud or pull heavy loads, but you could. During the Big Finish year-end event, you get a Ram deal like no other. Employee pricing for all, 0% for 84 and no payments for 90 days. Ram 1500 Lone Star for Christmas. No other truck comes close. And ask about Big Finish pricing on Ram Heavy Duty and Ram ProMaster for your business. Happy holidays from Allen Samuels.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? by not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference, and that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese, and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Sit down, Bob. I'm not happy, Bob. Not happy.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll and J.D. Pickell for the Blonde Boys Power Hour.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong Sims on your Monday. It is Up Tempo all day today, 11 to 2. Tell your friends. Invite them. Say, hey, friends, I'm watching Up Tempo at my house today. And say, hey, friends. Just send that in your group chat. Everybody say, hey, friends.
Hey, friends.
And then tell your friends.
Holla at me.
Tell your friends to go watch Up Tempo every Monday through Friday, 11 to 2. And then if you have a tweet, go viral. If you have a tweet, go even remotely viral. Then on the bottom of that tweet, when you're going to plug something that people can see, plug Up Tempo. Tell your friends to watch Up Tempo. So Armstrong, you just sent this video, and I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I want to break this down. The Loyola Chicago video of the fans. The fans.
Oh yeah.
Just.
This is bad.
I'm so glad this went viral. There are so many things. I just.
Very homeschool-esque.
Things going viral, spectacular. This one, and then the one I want to play after that has got to be the Timothy Burke one with the guys in the studio.
Man.
Here it is.
Oh, man.
Oh no. Stop.
Just homeschool university.
What?
Not a social skill in sight.
I'm going to him. Boo, right to you. Oh,
Hey,
there you go, brother. What was that?
That was my favorite part, actually,
The
where
jump?
he jumped. Everything else in this video is just homeschool high.
Oh, I am telling you, they have not been to a single high school.
I can't wait to write about this in my journal.
I'm going to prom with my mom.
Dear
What is it?
diary.
Is journaling bad now?
Dear diary, today we beat Illinois. It was awesome. Me and Johnny did the wave. It was so fun.
Don't crap on journaling. What? Is that how they talk? You guys are the worst. It was the best day. Remember that commercial?
According to my
It was the
calculations,
best
we are
day.
exactly
I did mock trial
23.7%
today.
chance of winning this basketball tournament.
Dear diary, I have mock trial tomorrow, but we beat Illinois today, so it's okay.
Dear diary.
I'm a yellow belt in jiu-jitsu.
Listen, I was on the Quiz Bowl team.
Dude, Quiz Bowl's cool.
And if you guys think
Dear
Quiz Bowl...
diary, I was on the Quiz Bowl team.
If you guys...
Armstrong's coming for the Quiz Bowl. I think Quiz Bowl's cool. No answers to quizzes. Anything with a bowl is cool.
If you guys think that Quiz Bowl is a great place to pick up girls, you're exactly right.
That's how I met my girlfriend.
That's how I met
Quiz Bowl?
Quiz Bowl, yeah.
No, but...
What? You can't
Maybe.
lie on this show?
There's no lying on this show.
We're already getting... Okay, the Oral Roberts video. We got to break this down. We got to break down the Oral Roberts music video.
What did they do?
I'm sorry, but we have to.
Oh my gosh, it hurts.
It's the most cult thing that's ever cult. And I know Baylor gets made fun of for being like, oh, it's a cult school. And so does A&M and so does Texas. Every school, every college in Texas gets made fun of for being a cult school.
A&M is a cult school.
A&M is a cult. The rings. Where they're like,
1,000%.
give me the Aggie ring.
Yeah.
Give me the ring. I got to wear the ring every day. I got to wear it everywhere.
I'm going to process.
And he's like, you're 75. You're like, yeah, that's my Aggie ring. Like, okay, great. You went to A&M.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. You haven't won anything in a long time. But my ring. How about this right here from Oral Roberts? This was posted by their Barstool account just the other day, and it is. I want to get your thoughts on this, JD.
Oh, man.
Break it down.
Yes. Yes.
ORU's the greatest school
This is real.
around.
The school sponsored this.
We've got that futuristic architecture swag.
Futuristic architecture swag. I love that line.
looking up how people
Special
go to Oral
little
Roberts.
features don't no other campus has.
Special little features don't know other campus have.
They don't have the praying hands.
They don't.
Brett, listen.
Jesus ain't in their garden.
Jesus is in their gardens.
11th commandment says.
11th commandment.
Thou shalt record your show here.
Thou shalt record your show here. So sacrilegious. Jesus is in their garden.
Come to O-R-U.
Look at this.
Come to
That's what a cult does.
I'm out. I'm out on this. Jeez.
Look at that.
O-R-U. Come to O-R-U. Come to O-R-U.
He's not really playing the trumpet. That dude doesn't play the trumpet.
There's not even a trumpet in this song, is there?
I don't. Maybe vaguely.
Yeah, it's in the background. Probably for a reason. I feel brainwashed watching this.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it.
You don't know this, but as a drummer, that drum beat is the most basic drum beat in existence. I mean, like, that is what you learn when you're like in second grade. Here's our very first drum beat.
And they just said,
that's what you play.
And they said, let's go ahead and put it in our song. Also, can we be mean for a second? That singing was horrible. Like, that singing was atrocious. Like, can we kind of be jerks about that? That singing sucked. And there were 3,462 people that were like, yeah, Oral Roberts is the place for me. Saw that commercial, probably were like, yeah, I'm still cool with this.
Dear
Let's
diary,
go.
saw
I want
a
to
cool
come
video today.
Dear
kind of want us to go to school there now.
You know, there's the Baylor, where our lights shine, and it plays constantly, and you're like, here it comes again.
Yeah.
And there's the new one that I don't like as much. It has like the song where it's like, let your lights shine, and windows down. You know what I'm talking about? The Baylor commercial that plays at every athletic event.
The lights,
Let your lights
whatever.
And then it's just like smiling student just turns and just.
It's still like more well done though. Than
Right.
this.
Oh, right. But that's from like
yeah.
15 years ago. And my favorite part is the director's like, okay, listen, how many of you can dance? And they're like, none of us.
Director's French.
We
Why is the director playing?
He was on Broadway. Gosh darn it. He was on Broadway until Oral Roberts called to direct their latest music video. So
I refuse to believe that whoever directed that had any previous experience directing anything at all.
Can any of you dance? Any of you? And they're like, I can lean forward a little bit. And he's like, okay, you're going to put your arms on the person ahead of you and just kind of bend down a little bit, but everybody do it at the same time. And we're going to make it into a music video. And that is the entirety. The entirety of the flash mob is like arm up and 2, 3, 4, arm up and 3, shoulder and dip and back up, and that's the whole choreography.
Hey, if you want to do Music Monday, call in right now.
Oh, hype.
254-339.
Hype. That's hype.
Oh,
we're gonna have people on here.
Dear Diary, today I played Music Monday, and it was hype.
And it was hype is
and
not
Drake,
actually the right
Drake
way.
said that I had a tan today, and I looked canned from being this weekend. It made me happy.
You're taking the joke that I made and now using it and trying to use it against me.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can too.
Well,
it's illegal.
When someone violates the rules of their own joke.
What?
Yep.
I make the rules of my own joke. I didn't violate anything.
What do you have a copyright?
Oh, I absolutely do have a copyright and a trademark.
Come to
Drake Toll broke the
100%.
rules of the joke.
I should have reported him, but I didn't.
Quiz Bowl,
tell my mom.
not Quiz Bowl, mic drop.
I was a Quiz Bowl state champion.
Dear Diary.
State champion?
Today we won. I'm just kidding.
I won a Quiz Bowl state. I was the captain of the team. I was the captain of the Quiz Bowl.
That is cool. That is cool.
Game
you don't know any music.
I just said that's cool. What are you saying? I'm giving you credit, and you're coming at
you
it.
did the diary thing before that.
I said that's cool, and now you're getting defensive about Quiz Bowl. I said that's cool.
It's the Quiz Bowl championship game. We got a call on the Impact Health Labs caller line. How about Don? Is it Don? Don's calling in to play Music Monday. Don, you going to play with us?
Hello, who's this?
Don, SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo. Yeah.
Hey, guys. Hey, listen, man. I saw that tweet that you put on last night, maybe early this morning. And I was surprised that no one else made a comment about it. That is the most boringest song. Can you imagine them using that as a hype song to get the team up?
Oh, there's no way.
Golly, if their team even listened to it, it'll put them to sleep.
I would transfer. I would transfer the 11th commandment.
I couldn't believe it. I was thinking, okay, at any moment they're gonna like bounce into the playing field and get some upbeat music to it, and it never happened, man. It was even kill all the way through. It was terrible. I just could not believe it.
Terrible. It was terrible. All right, so Don, Impact Health Labs. Don knows a thing or two about that, being the head man over there. Don, we're playing Music Monday right now. You got to play with us, right?
Yeah, I'll play with it. The last time we did this, I don't think I did very well. But today's a new day.
It's all right, Don. New day. It's all right, Don.
Armstrong tells me that you got it today.
As long as you don't play that, I'll tell you what. You play that ORU song first, and I'll get that one. Okay.
Come to ORU. All right, Don. Here we go. All 25 seconds are locked and loaded and ready to go. Armstrong, what do we got for Music Monday?
My car gave you all I had and you tossed it in the trash. Looking better than a body has a right to. And on the pages in between, my blood runs cold.
But the dawn is breaking, it's early morn.
But if things don't work out by the next song.
Ooh, Don, how do you feel about this?
I think I know 3 of them. Yeah.
Here we're gonna play it again.
All right, one more time. What do we got, Armstrong?
Okay.
My car gave you all I had and you tossed it in the trash. Looking better than a body has a right to. And on the pages in between, my blood runs cold.
But the dawn is breaking, it's early morn.
But if things don't work out by the next song.
Alrighty.
I think we got a couple artists. Not gonna lie to you. I think we got a couple artists.
All right, that's good.
All right. Don, what do you got on the board right now?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What do you got? What do you like so far?
Okay, on 1, it's Bruno Mars.
Nice.
I don't know the name of the song, but yeah, it's good. I can get the artist here. Bruno Mars for number 1. Number 2, Dolly Parton.
Yes.
There we go.
Number Number 3, I know the song. I just can't remember the group. Yeah, go figure that one out, right? Anyway, so yeah, it's don't know that one. Number 4 is John Denver.
Ooh.
Armstrong? 4 John Denver?
4 is John Denver.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Correct.
You have a song title or just the artist?
Yeah, I'm aging all you guys right now. So, and then 5 I couldn't get. I didn't know that one. That's country, of course, but.
Is it Brad Paisley? Is 5 Brad Paisley?
5 is not Brad Paisley.
I'm going to go with.
Good guess, though.
Was 5 Pat Green?
5 was not Pat Green.
So what I've got is I've got 1 Bruno Mars Grenade. Did you have that?
I think it's Catch a Grenade for you.
Grenade, right?
Or is it just Grenade?
It is Grenade. So
I had Grenade and I scribbled it out.
You get 1 point. JD's got a point.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
JD's got a point. I've got 2. Don has 1 off of that one. I've got Here You Come Again by Dolly Parton.
Yes.
Ooh.
So
I had Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton. Okay.
So that's 4
2
now.
2.
And then Don had Dolly Parton. So 2, 2, 4. 3 is My Love Runs Cold. My Angel is the Centerfold.
Okay.
Angel is by, I don't know who it's by.
That's an edgy song.
Did you have?
It is an edgy song.
No, I have 2 points probably for the rest of this thing.
Okay.
That's Centerfold by the band is the Jay Giles band. I actually need.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't. I had no. And then
So that's 5 points.
Number 4. So Don got John Denver there. I had Gordon Lightfoot. I said Gordon Lightfoot, which was not correct. So that's okay. That's all right.
And the song was "Leaving on a Jet Plane."
Leaving?
Yeah, Leaving on a Jet Plane.
Who is it by? You said?
Leaving on a jet plane.
Jay Giles. You said Jay Giles, man.
I know her, brother.
Oh no!
This is John Denver.
John Denver.
John Denver.
John
Okay.
Denver did leave on a jet plane.
Leaving on.
That is tough. You know how John Denver died.
Okay. Anyways.
That is really dark. That is a real. That song has a whole new meaning. And then number 5, I had Pat Green, and I don't think Don had anything. JD, did you?
I put Brad Paisley, and that was not right.
Yeah,
So I think
that
I got-
one was "Buy Myself a Chance" by Randy Rogers Band.
Randy Rogers Band. Oh, nice job. I bet my dad would have known that. My dad's big. We're going to hit a break. I'll call my dad. All right. I think did Don beat you by a point?
I think he did.
I think he did.
Yeah, John did.
Don, you
Yeah.
got it.
There you go, Don.
Hey, listen, Don, next time you're in studio and one of us gets COVID and you got to test everybody, you get 7 free T-shirts.
I'd be glad to. Yes.
Good deal.
Good work, Don.
Good.
There it
Hey,
is.
Don, thanks for your call, man. Always good to hear from you. Call us again soon.
Hold on a second. You don't have any after questions?
Bear
like,
games.
who's the
Bear
top
games.
5 or something like that?
Yeah, Don. So
Don
our
knows what he wants.
Bear Games question of the day today is
Bear play. There you go.
if Baylor had a sister Jean, just like a person who was the mascot that everybody knew about, who would it be?
A sister Jean?
Yeah, so Sister Jean is this 101-year-old nun who follows around.
Yes.
If Baylor had one of those, who would it be? Just like a team mascot, but it's a person.
Man, I would have to go with Grant Taft.
I like that call. Okay. I'm surprised we haven't gotten more Grant Taft
Or Jim
answers
Grobe.
yet.
Or Jim Grobe.
Yeah. Or
no, you got to go with you got to go with Taft because he's got a following, man.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm for it.
The folks love Grant Taft. And then
that will be.
How about Finding Dory or Wally? Have you seen either of those, Don?
Yeah, I've seen Finding Dory. Yeah, I would go with Finding Dory.
He's voting Finding Dory. And then that's a tight matchup. Toy Story 2 or Ratatouille?
Oh, Toy Story all the way.
All the way.
The second one, though, not the first one. It's Toy Story 2 versus Ratatouille.
Oh, Ratatouille.
Oh, Ratatouille.
Okay.
Changing the answers. Wow, Ratatouille locked in.
If you go with Toy Story 2, yeah, Ratatouille.
Okay.
Ratatouille locked in. Hey, Don, thanks for your call as always. Like I said, call us again. We as often as possible.
I love it.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, Don. I love it. Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong Sims. When we come back, Parker Thune is breaking down Oklahoma Gonzaga. That game tips off in 2 hours. This is Up Tempo.
Sweet, sweet victory and sweet, sweet 16. Bears are still dancing after a solid 79-55 win over Hartford and a 76-63 win over Wisconsin to secure their spot as one of the last 16 teams alive in March Madness. Baylor will meet Villanova on Saturday with a place in the Elite Eight on the line. The winner of Saturday's game will face either Arkansas or Cinderella Oral Roberts. On the women's side, Baylor obliterated Jackson State 101-52 in round 1 in San Antonio. Kim Mulkey and company now have their sights set on 7-seed Virginia Tech in round 2. Elsewhere in Baylor sports, the baseball team dropped 2 hard-fought and tight games against number 10 Texas to start the weekend, but bounced back to absolutely hammer the Longhorns 11-2 on Sunday. The softball team split a pair of games against Houston, falling 3-1 on Saturday and securing a 2-1 walk-off win on Sunday. And the women's tennis team notched a pair of hard-earned victories over the weekend with a 4-3 win over number 32 Oklahoma and a 6-1 win over number 31 Oklahoma State. The men's tennis team knocked off Louisiana and Dallas Baptist 6-1 and 7-0 respectively. The women's golf team also finished 5th at the Mountain View Collegiate Classic in Saddlebrook, Arizona. And lest we forget, 3-seed Texas fell to 11-seed Abilene Christian on Saturday to end the Longhorns' season. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. And this football season, you need to stop by on game day for curbside pickup or stop by their tent next to SicEm365 at Brazos Parking for your pregame refreshment. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jeweler, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Well, let's be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Drake Toll and Armstrong Sims on Up Tempo all day. 11 to 2, talking all things college basketball today around March Madness NCAA tournament. Right now, Iowa at halftime trailing Oregon 56-46. Armstrong made a great point that Texas and Abilene Christian, not a single one of those two teams, scored 56 points in their entire game. And right now, Oregon has that on the National Player of the Year, Luka Garza. So that game at half. And coming up this afternoon, 1:40 tip, Oklahoma, Gonzaga, our resident Oklahoma expert. I'm talking the man when it comes OU sports. Parker Thune joins the show. Parker, thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, absolutely, Drake. Hey, I tell you what, we are a Baylor win and an Arkansas win away from the Toll Bowl. Give me all of that.
Stop. I didn't think it would happen. I picked Colgate just to avoid having to be Baylor and Arkansas. And then in the brackets that I didn't pick Colgate, I picked Arkansas to lose to Texas Tech, just so it didn't have to be Baylor and Arkansas. And now we're a game away from me having to make a shirt that has half Baylor, half Arkansas. But I guess it is what it is. It is what it is. You, though, I mean, you're in a situation being in Oklahoma where you could see, I guess it'd be the national championship game between OU and Oral Roberts. And I guess that's the dream scenario right now.
I mean, that has to be, for any Oklahoma resident. Oklahoma State's obviously out of the picture now, but hey, ORU, I mean, second 15 seed in history to make the Sweet 16, and those boys can play some ball. I think they were underseeded a little bit, and I actually did pick them over Ohio State in the round of 64. I didn't have them going any further, but that was a team that was going to sneak up on some people come tournament time, and I think you're seeing their true potential here through the first two rounds.
Well, Coach Mills, without a doubt, one of those Baylor Scott Drew coaching tree guys who's done a great. And you texted me a week ago. You said, "Hey, listen, don't be surprised. That's the one. That's the one." So I put it in a couple of my brackets, set it up in my top 10 upset picks, and lo and behold, I look like a genius thanks to what you told me. And so with today, though, I mean, you got Gonzaga and Oklahoma. It's one of my favorite matchups of the day. I felt like Gonzaga really got slighted by having to play Oklahoma in round 2, whereas the rest of the bracket on their side just doesn't look that daunting. But OU, they can be a force to be reckoned with when they're on.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as an Oklahoma grad, I try not to let any semblance of homerism creep into my takes, but I don't think it's a secret that Oklahoma was underseeded. That team was a lot better than an 8 seed. You look at their resume, it's very comparable to West Virginia's. West Virginia ended up a 3 seed, obviously. And granted, the skid at the end of the year did hurt Oklahoma, but this is a team that when they're on, they can play with anybody in the country. And so, I mean, they are, I think as you look across the bracket, they're probably the scariest of those 8, 9, 7, 10 seeds that those 1 and 2s have to deal with in the round of 32. So, no, they head into this game against Gonzaga today with a very good chance, I believe, to pull an upset and advance to the Sweet 16, rather.
What is it going to take? I mean, you're playing a Gonzaga team that a lot of folks think are indestructible right now in the realm of college basketball. What does it take for Oklahoma to win today?
Well, I think it starts with perimeter defense, Drake, and here's why. You look at Corey Kispert of Gonzaga, who shoots nearly 46% from the three-point line, and Oklahoma has struggled at times this season to defend the three-point shot. To me, I'm not as much worried about Jalen Suggs' impact on this game because Oklahoma has Elijah Harkless, who's arguably the best on-ball defender in the United States at the collegiate level going up against Suggs. So I trust that his impact on the game is going to be curtailed by Harkless to a certain extent. But you look at what Kispert's able to do and how he's able to light it up from beyond the arc. That's one guy that Oklahoma is really going to have to make a priority of closing out on, making sure he doesn't get open looks and making sure he doesn't get hot, because he's the type of player that can blow a game open with outside shooting. And the potential is certainly there today against an Oklahoma team that has struggled to defend opponents at the three-point line.
Parker, tell me before we get too much more into this game, what has your Oklahoma weekend looked like? Did you get the chance to make it up to Indianapolis? And with a win today, is that where you're headed?
Dude, I tell you what, I was not in Indianapolis this past weekend, but hey, you know what? If they advance to the Sweet 16, if they topple the number 1 overall seed, the team that's been ranked number 1 all year, I might have to go ahead and make the trip. So we'll see what happens, but got to get past today before we start thinking about tomorrow.
Tell me your confidence level, 1 to 10, being an analyst. I know you said the homerism is there. So no matter what, yeah, obviously I have Baylor winning every single one of my brackets just because that's where it is. That's kind of how things go when you attend the school or have ties to a place. And they got a legitimate shot with this Gonzaga team, as good as they are. Taking the homerism out of it, what is your confidence level at 1 to 10 that Oklahoma actually wins the game?
Well, first off, you'll be glad to know that I also have Baylor as my national champion in my bracket. So I do really like your Bears and their odds to make a deep run and potentially finish it off with a national championship. That said, I've said all year, really, I think Oklahoma's an Elite 8 team. I think that's their ceiling. And, you know, if things fall their way, maybe they sneak into the Final Four at some point down the line. But going up against a Gonzaga team that obviously hasn't lost all season, it has beaten some really good teams in Kansas and West Virginia and Iowa, but that hasn't played a ranked team in 3 months since December 19th when they beat the Hawkeyes. I don't really know what to think of this game. And to be honest, my gut says Gonzaga. You know, I've gotten to the point, Drake, after just watching OU sports for as many years as I have, that you get to a point where your gut just kind of tells you whether they're going to win or not. And today my gut is saying Gonzaga. Obviously, as an alum, I hope I'm wrong, but I do think that the Bulldogs, you know, Oklahoma is the type of team that they have to play a really good game in order to beat you. That's just the way that they're constructed. That's the way that roster is constructed. They don't have an NBA talent on that roster. So if they are cold, if they're cold across the board, as you saw in the Big 12 tournament against Kansas, in which they scored literally 12 points in the first half of that game. If that's the kind of showing that they come out with, if there's nobody that can pick up the slack on the offensive end, nobody that can take over a game, they're a team that is going to struggle to stay in a basketball game. And so they have to have a strong effort all the way around. And more often than not, they get it. Lon Kruger knows how to get the best out of the players that he has on hand. But at the same time, you look at Gonzaga, who has legitimate NBA talent in guys like Jalen Suggs and Kispert and Drew Timme. I just worry that the star power is a little too much for the Sooners to overcome. Again, would love to be wrong, but that's what I foresee today.
Parker Thune again joining us. This is 24/7 Sports Sooner beat writer talking all things Oklahoma and Gonzaga. That tips off at 1:40 today. This Oklahoma squad knocking off Missouri. I mean, Quanzo Martin, this was supposed to be their team. You know, Xavier Pinson's one of the best guards in the SEC. Missouri really liked what they had this year. Oklahoma went out. They controlled the aspects of the game they needed to, and they pulled off the win in round one in a game that a lot of people had favored Missouri and leaned Missouri, and even without Oklahoma missing one of their best players. The momentum of that game, is that going to carry out? And this is kind of where the 14.5 point line spread comes in. Does that momentum at least carry Oklahoma into this game to keep it close?
I would say Oklahoma plus 14.5. Yeah, bet that, Drake, because it's not going to be a double-digit win, I don't think. This is going to be a game, one way or another. I just worry that in the end, Gonzaga's star power takes over late, and you see the Bulldogs kind of pull away. But with that said, no, I think from a team perspective, what Oklahoma was able to do against Missouri, I don't know if that necessarily carries over as much, just because, I mean, you've seen it all year with this team. They can be lights out one night and they can be stone cold the next. And the thing that was more striking to me is, in an individual sense, I think it's going to be really good going forward for Brady Manick, the way that he performed against Missouri. And you go back to the Big 12 tournament, the way that he shot the ball against Kansas, because he had scuffled all year and he'd had a bout with COVID-19 that had very evidently affected his durability. He just didn't seem to have the shooting touch. The shots that Oklahoma fans were used to seeing fall from Brady Manick just weren't falling. But you really, towards the end of the season, especially in the Big 12 tournament, in that game against Oklahoma State that went to overtime and Cade Cunningham dropped the 40-piece. But over the latter few weeks of the season, you really saw Brady Manek start to rediscover his shooting touch. And he was 5 for 9 from beyond the arc against Missouri. And he's the X factor on offense for Oklahoma, Drake. If he is shooting the ball well, that Oklahoma offense is a force to be reckoned with. When he's cold, you need other guys to pick up the slack. And again, does Oklahoma really have that guy? I don't think so. It might be Austin Reeves here and there, but for the most part, Brady Manek, when he is on, is the biggest scoring mismatch that Oklahoma has. So given what he was able to do against Missouri, particularly from beyond the 3-point line, I'll be curious to see whether that carries over and whether he's as hot from the field against Gonzaga as he was against Missouri. And if he is, believe me, the Sooners have more than a puncher's chance in this game. Think about this, though. If Oklahoma takes a lead to the locker room, you legitimately have to wonder whether Gonzaga is going to have the mental resolve to dig themselves out of the hole simply because they haven't faced really any adversity this season. They've run through the WCC. They haven't been remotely challenged for the most part. So if Oklahoma is able to engage them in a shootout early and is able to punch them in the mouth, that's when you start to worry about whether Gonzaga is going to have the fortitude to be able to climb back into it.
With matchups, when it comes to a matchup standpoint for Gonzaga and Oklahoma today, I mean, Gonzaga's got some size here and there, but really they can make their bed when it comes to shooting. I mean, they got guys, so many guys that can score so well. I've got to know, when you think about defensively, this Oklahoma squad and the way they match up, and then defensively from a Gonzaga standpoint and trying to stop Oklahoma, is there one team that just looks better than the other from that perspective?
I think the most obvious mismatch, Drake, is Drew Timme on the interior. Gonzaga's 6'10" center who's averaging north of 17 points per game. And what I worry about for Oklahoma is, do they have a guy that is physically cut out to go up against Drew Timme? And if Brady Manek's playing the 5, I really like Timme to post up and be able to put 20, 25 points up on the board for the Bulldogs. Now, Kirk Queth, Oklahoma's 6'10" senior center. We've seen him in limited action here and there. He's been really good at times. He's been really bad at times. And he's a guy that you never know quite what you're going to get from him on a night-to-night basis. Really a perfect microcosm of this team when you think about it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Timme starts to put up some points on Manek. You see Queth rotated in just to kind of offset that physical advantage that Timme has over Manek in terms of height and in terms of bulk, in terms of length. But I think he's the one guy for Gonzaga on the interior that can really break this game open. And then obviously, as I mentioned earlier, you got to account for Kispert from the 3-point line. I don't know who that's going to be. Oklahoma tends to play a smaller lineup. And I think definitely you're looking at Harkless on Jalen Suggs just because there's nobody in Gonzaga's lineup that can do as much damage of his own accord as Jalen Suggs. So you got to have Harkless on him, and you got to have guys stepping up across the board if you're going to isolate Harkless on Suggs.
Parker, last question for you here on Gonzaga and Oklahoma at 140, but I want to go to Baylor and Oklahoma's experience playing Baylor in Waco. I mean, they only got one shot at them, but obviously between the Bears and the Zags, comparable programs, comparable teams this year. Do you think OU's looking at some of that game film from the BU game and saying, hey, this is, we've played a team of that caliber. They put their pants on the same way that we do?
Well, yeah, I think you have to, because it's been pretty clear, I think, from the get-go in this college basketball season that there is a clear divide between Gonzaga, Baylor, and the rest of the field. So you face a team that is as solid all the way around as Baylor, and then you got to go up against a team in tournament time that is comparable in Gonzaga. Yeah, you're going to put on the film, you're going to see, okay, what did we do that worked? What did we do that didn't work? What are the similarities and the distinctions between Gonzaga and Baylor, and how can we best game plan in order to try to take down the Bulldogs? And as you recall, Oklahoma gave Baylor some problems in that game. And then down the stretch, the Bears were able to pull away late. Look, for my money, I think Baylor's the best team in college basketball. I think they're better than Gonzaga. I think they're better than anybody in this field. And if they play their game, they're well on their way to a national championship. That said, Gonzaga is a team that, as I mentioned, has some really, really high-level talents. And when they're on, they're a really tough team to beat. So Oklahoma, I think, will no doubt be looking at what worked and what didn't in that Baylor game and trying to see what they can possibly carry over from that contest going into today, this afternoon against Gonzaga.
Well, Parker, here's what I got for you. Bear Games questions of the day, and I know you're excited. You're about an hour and a half away from Gonzaga and Oklahoma. Going to be a huge matchup. We'll have it on here in studio. I got to know, if Oklahoma had a sister Jean, who would it be? Who's Oklahoma's sister Jean?
Oh, gosh. Do I got to pick somebody that's already in the program?
Well, no. I mean, it could be anybody. This is I phrase it as the human equivalent of a mascot.
Interesting. Okay. I'm trying to think of somebody that has ties to the program. I would say probably Cade Davis. He's a guy that
walk me through it. You got to walk us through it.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember Cade Davis, but he was a forward for Oklahoma about 10 years ago, had a good career in Norman, and then played overseas for several years, and is now back on the team as a graduate assistant. Just a guy that everybody loves, everybody appreciates, has a really good reputation around the program, and everybody was thrilled to have him back. So you think about the affinity that the Loyola Chicago community has for Sister Jean and how she kind of represents everything that they are about. I think if there were one person like that for Oklahoma, I would probably go with Cade Davis.
Lock it in. And then 2 matchups today in our Disney movie madness. How about either Toy Story 2 or Ratatouille?
Oh, man, that's a gimme. Ratatouille all the way.
Ratatouille.
All the way.
Locked in. And then our second one and final one, Finding Dory or WALL-E?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would probably go with WALL-E.
Wow.
I don't know. I've watched WALL-E multiple times. I've only seen Finding Dory one time. That's maybe why I have more appreciation for WALL-E. But it's also just a really powerful storyline in that movie.
True. It's deep. It is a deep It's a Pixar? It's Pixar. Yeah, it's a deep Pixar film. Parker Thune, final question. Final Bear Games question. Oklahoma Gonzaga final score prediction.
Okay, I like Oklahoma to hold Gonzaga under 75 points, which has only been done once this year. But I'm going to say Gonzaga still gets the win. I'll say it's 68-61. Bulldogs.
68-61. Hammer. Oklahoma plus 14.5. Vegas doesn't know what they're talking about. And, hey, anything can happen. It's March. It's mad. If Abilene Christian, Oral Roberts, and the rest of the God schools can still be in this thing, Oklahoma's got a shot today against anybody. Parker Thune, thanks for joining the show.
Absolutely, Drake. Take care. We'll do it again.
Well, I'll talk to you soon, man. Hey, if Oklahoma wins, Parker Thune's coming back. He's coming back. I'll tell you that. OU and Gonzaga today at 1:40. When we come back, though, we're joined by Eugene from Villanova. That's right. He's going to come on the show and talk to us about Baylor and Villanova's matchup that comes at you this Saturday. This right here, Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims is up tempo.
Sweet, sweet victory and sweet, sweet 16. The Bears are still dancing after a solid 79-55 win over Hartford and a 76-63 win over Wisconsin to secure their spot as one of the last 16 teams alive in March Madness. Baylor will meet Villanova on Saturday with a place in the Elite Eight on the line. The winner of Saturday's game will face either Arkansas or Cinderella Oral Roberts. On the women's side, Baylor obliterated Jackson State 101-52 in round 1 in San Antonio. Kim Mulkey and company now have their sights set on 7-seed Virginia Tech in round 2. Elsewhere in Baylor sports, the baseball team dropped 2 hard-fought and tight games against number 10 Texas to start the weekend, but bounced back to absolutely hammer the Longhorns 11-2 on Sunday. The softball team split a pair of games against Houston, falling 3-1 on Saturday and securing a 2-1 walk-off win on Sunday. And the women's tennis team notched a pair of hard-earned victories over the weekend with a 4-3 win over number 32 Oklahoma and a 6-1 win over number 31 Oklahoma State. The men's tennis team knocked off Louisiana and Dallas Baptist 6-1 and 7-0 respectively. The women's golf team also finished 5th at the Mountain View Collegiate Classic in Saddlebrook, Arizona. And lest we forget, 3-seed Texas fell to 11-seed Abilene Christian on Saturday to end the Longhorns' season. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Bird Culchin Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culchin Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culchin Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new, pre-owned Bird Culchin Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership. Online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culchin Ford.
The holidays are here, and I have a simple question for you. Will you weigh as much more or less than you do right now when the holidays are over? Why not end the year in better shape than when you started and create momentum for 2021? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has numerous options for stocking stuffer gifts with gift cards for gym or tennis membership, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, tennis lessons, and personal training. Perhaps a gift for a client, a family member, or a friend. You just need to walk through the front door to change your life. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. Spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation. A tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So get the best and healthiest Christmas gift you can for someone or yourself. It's time to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
No capes. Do you remember Thunderhead? Tall, storm powers. Nice man. Good with kids.
Listen. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Dyna guy, snag on takeoff. Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No kicks.
Here's Drake Toll and Armstrong Sims.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Drake Toll and Armstrong Sims today, breaking down things across the NCAA tournament bracket. It is March Madness, folks. Back in the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den, talking Baylor and Villanova with Eugene Rapay, who joins us, USA Today Network, Villanova Hoops, as a part of SB Nation. Eugene, thanks for coming on and helping us learn a little bit more about this Villanova team.
No problem. Thanks for having me on, Drake.
Absolutely. Tell us, at a 30,000-foot view, this Villanova team, what are they all about? What makes them click in this 2021 year?
I think for them, it's been their experience. They brought a lot of guys back from last year, and although Colin Gillespie's injured right now, a lot of those seasoned veterans and some of the younger guys are stepping up and really coming to their own this tournament.
With, Colin Gillespie out, that being one of the main focal points and just big things that's been out in the media in the last week or two with Villanova and the NCAA or in March Madness, how does that change the dynamic of this team?
It changes a lot. Villanova, Jay Wright, they love their guards. They especially love their point guards. They have such a long tradition and history, especially in recent years. and to have their key playmaker and one of their top scorers go down, it really changed the dynamic. And I think you saw Villanova struggled a little bit in the 2 games after he went down, but they've been finding their footing and they've been able to adjust without him.
Obviously, Villanova struggled more in the Big East tournament, and Georgetown was just tearing through teams all through that run. And it didn't look like Nova had a fighter's chance to even make the Sweet 16, make it through 2 rounds of March Madness based on kind of how they looked in the Big East tournament. And here they are. Do you attribute that to the playing level they're at right now, to coaching? What kind of goes into this run that Villanova's made to the Sweet 16?
I think it's been a matter of coaching, but also Villanova has had some time to adjust without Colin Gillespie. I think their first game right after he went down, they were thrown into a loss against Providence, and they looked completely out of sync. They had a fighter's chance, but just missed it at the end. And then in the Big East tournament, they had a few days under their belts, but not enough time, and not nearly as enough time as they've had over these last couple of weeks, and just getting caught up to speed, getting Chris Arcidiacono more comfortable in running the show, or having Brian Antoine step in and take bigger minutes. So I think between the coaching and just all the players becoming more comfortable with each other, that's been huge on the run.
I'll tell you, this Baylor team, when you look at the South region, and it applies to Villanova as well, you look across, and it's schools that have been to a national championship in the last 5 or 6 years between, Villanova and Wisconsin, North Carolina, schools that are in there that have that kind of pedigree. Villanova still has that national championship pedigree with this school. I've got to know how much of that translates to a 2021 team that maybe has a little bit less experience on that national stage.
It's interesting just because last time Villanova played in the national championship in 2018, the only person that played in that was Colin Gillespie. And they had a couple of guys in Jermaine Samuels and Demir Cosby-Roundtree who got a taste of that. And I think that has helped them out this time around, especially you see Jermaine Samuels stepping up and really becoming his own as a leader and a senior captain on this team. So I think in some degrees it helps, but for the most part, it's been new for a lot of the players on this team.
How about it? And Colin Gillespie being gone, who are the guys that have stepped up that Baylor's going to have to not just watch for, but stop in this game?
The key ones has to be Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. The big man is leading the team in both points and rebounds. He's gotten some NBA draft conversation. He's in talks for some mock drafts, and whether or not he stays or goes for next year, we'll see. But he's definitely going to be the man to watch. Jermaine Samuels is another one that I recently just mentioned. He's been kind of their glue guy. He can kind of contribute a little bit of everywhere. But since Gillespie went down and since Nova came back from its COVID pause that sidelined them for nearly 3 weeks, he's been playing at a much higher level, and he's been reaching his potential, or what we've seen before, little pieces here and there. And then outside of him, you have Justin Moore, just a crafty shooter, quick guard, athletic player. Caleb Daniels, he had a little bit of a shooting slump, but he really cashed in a little bit in that game against North Texas. So really, between the guards and the seasoned guys that have been here before, those I would say are probably the top 4 to watch.
How about the bench of this Villanova team? One of the comments that we heard yesterday about this squad is that there are only 7 guys who average 20 or more minutes per game this season, and a couple of guys are around 10 or more. But, it seems like Jay Wright's going to stick to 6, 7, 8 guys that he wants to play consistently. Is that kind of how this team operates?
Yeah, for the most part, Jay has loved his tighter rotations. In the NCAA tournament, though, he surprised us a little bit and has trusted his bench a little bit more. Maybe that is as a result of Colin Gillespie's injury and absence. But for the most part, he likes his rotations tight. He likes to lean on the starters. But we've seen some good things so far from Cole Swider, Brandon Slater, Brian Antoine, just coming off the bench and chipping in, especially in that win against North Texas.
Coaching standpoint, sideline standpoint, not bench, but sideline. Jay Wright is one of the names, premier names in college basketball. And my philosophy is that coaching can get you so far in March Madness. How pivotal and crucial is it to have a coach like Jay Wright on Villanova's sideline, especially after losing Colin Gillespie?
I think it's huge. A lot of people didn't really expect Villanova to be at this point. I'm sure you've heard, but as soon as the brackets came out, Winthrop just being that 5-12 trendy upset pick, and for Nova to make it to the Sweet 16 despite Gillespie being out. Yeah, Purdue going down probably helped their, ease up the road a little bit, but still to reach the Sweet 16 without one of your top scorers and then having another one playing at 50%, 80% is pretty big for Jay Wright. And it just shows, and it's a testament to what he means to that team.
Again, Eugene Rapay joining the show today, talking Villanova hoops as Baylor and Villanova will square off this Saturday in the Sweet 16. Eugene, coming into the NCAA tournament, obviously everybody's filling out brackets. I know you had one of your own. Did you have Villanova in the Sweet 16? Did you think that this team had that kind of ceiling or maybe even a further ceiling this year?
Before the injury, I definitely thought that Villanova could have been in the Final Four conversation. But then once Colin Gillespie went down, I definitely didn't have them going this far. I know in my personal bracket, I had them beating Winthrop, but falling to Purdue in the second round. For them to be in the Sweet 16 and have that matchup against Baylor is pretty impressive. But yeah, it's really exceeded my expectations for sure.
Well, Eugene, Villanova, like I've said, one of the best programs. I mean, really coming into their own as a modern blue blood kind of school, kind of team. And Baylor really has tried to make a case to be in that conversation. A couple of Elite Eights in the last decade, a handful of Sweet 16s, and now back there again this year with Scott Drew. What do you know about this Baylor team? I mean, is this a matchup that you think favors the Bears quite a bit, or could this be a tighter game than folks expect?
I think that this is definitely a matchup that will favor the Bears. Baylor last year, Villanova fans got a little glimpse of them in that Myrtle Beach Invitational. That was a pretty close game, but Baylor just had the bigger plays, especially in the second half, and pulled away to beat the Cats. And the scary part is the Bears pretty much brought everybody back from that game. Yeah. And Villanova lost a couple key pieces, especially Gillespie, who had 27 points in that game. So right now, I would say just you look right down the line between Jared Butler, Davion Mitchell, and Masio Teague. There's a lot of familiar names here and a lot of painful memories for Villanova fans just thinking back to that Myrtle Beach Invitational game. It's unfortunate because I'm sure the Baylor would have made a lot of noise last year had the NCAA tournament not been canceled. But here we are a year later, and looks like these teams are going to meet again, and it'll be an interesting one.
How about, you mentioned Jared Butler and Davion Mitchell, those two guys, All-Americans, Butler being first team, Davion Mitchell is third team. I want to know, is Butler, or maybe it's Mitchell, are one of those two guys the player that you point to on this Baylor team and you say, okay, that's the catalyst that makes this squad tick?
Ooh, that's a pretty tough one because, I love them both. And especially just looking at Butler and Mitchell, I look at them and I think, all right, Colin Gillespie's down. Villanova's defense has been kind of shaky. And you look at them and you think, what are the potential matchups going to look like? How is Villanova going to adjust to these dynamic guards? For me personally, I think I lean towards a little bit more to Butler leading the way. However, Davion Mitchell, just what he does and just his athleticism and he's just so impressive. And his ability to shoot is just, wow.
Without a doubt. I mean, both of those guys, I think the defensive side of the ball, too, for each of those players is really where they make their bet, as great as they are on the offensive end. Tell me, this Baylor team, they pride themselves on defense. For Villanova, is it a squad that is going to kill you on the defensive end of the ball or the offensive more so?
So I think going in or before the Colin Gillespie injury, Villanova has been pretty much known for its saying, quote unquote, shoot 'em up, sleep in the streets. They love the three ball. But I think ever since Gillespie went down, the offense has taken a little bit of a hit. So they've been trying to pick up more of a defensive identity. So I think right now Nova's going to probably come in, try to muck it up like they've done against Big 12 opponents of the past, like when they upset Kansas last season. That was just an ugly game from the offensive standpoint, but defensively, it was one of Villanova's better jobs on that end of the court. So I think for Villanova to make any kind of noise, it'll definitely have to be on the defensive end, and they've been transitioning to that side more so over the last couple of weeks.
I know I asked you to look 30,000-foot level and give us an idea of what this team is like for Villanova, but how about 30,000-foot level for this game as a whole? What do you see taking place on Saturday when you think about these two teams matching up?
I think Villanova's coming in as underdogs, no doubt. Baylor has definitely been one of the better teams in the country. And it's interesting because I'm sure you remember, but Baylor was supposed to be in Bubbleville in the beginning of the year. They had to step out for COVID reasons. So we didn't get that matchup there, but here we are in March, and we're seeing that matchup here on a bigger stage. I think it might be problematic for Villanova just because of Baylor's dynamic offense and obviously the ability to make plays on the defensive end as well. However, Jay Wright, March, I don't know. It's hard to discount against them, but it'll definitely be a fun one for sure.
Without a doubt. Eugene Rapay, thanks for joining the show today. Here's what I want to do before we get out of here. We got our Bear Games questions of the day, and 3 of them today. The first one, I want to know, if Villanova had a sister Jean, if there was going to be one person who was like a living, breathing human mascot for the team, who would it be for Villanova?
It's Father Rob. They actually have their own chaplain. He's been there pretty much over the last few decades. He's kind of seen the highs and the lows of the program. He's basically been by the team side all throughout. So I would say Father Rob Hagan.
Lock in Father Rob as the sister Jean of Villanova. You heard it here first, folks. And then the Disney movie madness. Are you going with Toy Story 2 or Ratatouille?
Ooh, Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2.
Lock in Toy Story 2. And then Finding Dory or WALL-E?
Oh, man, this is actually this is going to be a little bit of a downer, but I haven't seen Finding Dory yet. I love Finding Nemo, obviously, so I'm going to have to go with WALL-E for now.
Locking in WALL-E. Eugene Rapay, thanks so much for joining the show and introducing us into Villanova and what this team is all about in the 2021 season. Should be a great matchup on Saturday.
Definitely looking forward to it. Thanks again for having me on, Drake.
Absolutely. Eugene Rapay, Villanova Hoops, talking all things Wildcats as that game tips off at like 6 or 6:30 Saturday. I think it's 6:30. I think. I'll have to look again. No, it's like 4:30. 4:45. 4:45, lock it in, final answer. I'm Drake.
5 p.m. on Saturday.
4:44?
Is that's the real time?
I think it's 4:45 p.m. on Saturday. I know. What a crap time.
It's unfortunate, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got to be somewhere. I forgot. Do you actually?
You did know that?
No.
No, it's just unfortunate timing. It's just like middle of the afternoon on a Saturday is just not ideal.
And then by the time the game's over, you're like, well,
yeah,
what am I going to do now?
Yeah. I mean, you do have a night after that.
You really don't.
I mean, you got to be watching the other games.
Because it's like, true. I'm Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims. This is Up Tempo.
Sweet, sweet victory and sweet, sweet 16. Bears are still dancing after a solid 79-55 win over Hartford and a 76-63 win over Wisconsin to secure their spot as one of the last 16 teams alive in March Madness. Baylor will meet Villanova on Saturday with a place in the Elite Eight on the line. The winner of Saturday's game will face either Arkansas or Cinderella Oral Roberts. On the women's side, Baylor obliterated Jackson State 101-52 in round 1 in San Antonio. Kim Mulkey and company now have their sights set on 7-seed Virginia Tech in round 2. Elsewhere in Baylor sports, the baseball team dropped 2 hard-fought and tight games against number 10 Texas to start the weekend, but bounced back to absolutely hammer the Longhorns 11-2 on Sunday. The softball team split a pair of games against Houston, falling 3-1 on Saturday and securing a 2-1 walk-off win on Sunday. And the women's tennis team notched a pair of hard-earned victories over the weekend with a 4-3 win over number 32 Oklahoma and a 6-1 win over number 31 Oklahoma State. The men's tennis team knocked off Louisiana and Dallas Baptist 6-1 and 7-0 respectively. The women's golf team also finished 5th at the Mountain View Collegiate Classic in Saddlebrook, Arizona. And lest we forget, 3-seed Texas fell to 11-seed Abilene Christian on Saturday to end the Longhorns' season. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With your Ram truck from Allen Samuels, you may not have to plow through snow and mud or pull heavy loads, but you could. During the Big Finish year-end event, you get a Ram deal like no other. Employee pricing for all, 0% for 84, no payments for 90 days. Ram 1500 Lone Star for Christmas. No other truck comes close. And ask about Big Finish pricing on Ram Heavy Duty and Ram ProMaster for your business. Happy holidays from Allen Samuels.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese, and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or wacocustommarketplace.com.
I got breaking news here. We got Western Athletic Conference just announced they're adding several schools.
The WAC.
The WAC.
Okay.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
I think Coach Gundy would be like my guy that I would just like just a hair. Yeah. I just want to be able to see it flow when I kind of slam his arm down.
Here's Drake Toll.
All right.
I need a shirt. We need a shirt that say the WAC is back.
The WAC's back. Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims, Up Tempo. This right here, we got sound bites from Scott Drew after the win against Wisconsin, where he breaks things down from Baylor's game as the Bears advance to the Sweet 16 for the 5th time since 2010. Baylor is moving on. Check this out from Scott Drew after Sunday's game.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. We have several questions in the queue, but why don't we get started with your opening comments?
Well, first and foremost, really impressed with our guys as far as their preparation and coming into the game knowing how hard it was going to be to beat Wisconsin. We saw how well they played against North Carolina, such a older, mature, senior-laden group. We knew they didn't want to go home, and really knew that our guys were locked in through the scouting, and I thought we'd play well. Now, four turnovers and 15 assists. I didn't know we'd play that well, but that's a really good number against a really good team.
Our first question comes from Dan Woken. Dan, your line is now open.
Hey, Scott, how are you?
Good. How are you doing today, Dan?
I'm doing well. You know, when you look at the tournament, you saw what happened to VCU yesterday and the COVID pauses happening at different times. When you guys went on that late season pause, did you have sort of a long-term thought that maybe, you know, to have it happen right then might benefit you in the long run? Mm-hmm. And, you know, as you look back on it now, do you feel like you're building back toward where you were before that?
Dan, you sound like me, an optimistic guy, because when the pause hits, your first instinct is we're in trouble, and then especially a 21-day one. But I was thinking the exact same thing you were, and that was if and when we could play long enough, it would help us from the standpoint when you're away from the game for 3 weeks, you're watching everyone else play. It makes you hungrier to be back together and to be playing. So I do think now that we're back where we were prior to the pause defensively, I think it is. I mean, like in our team room, and when we spend time with each other, it's a blessing. No one's on each other's nerves or anything, because February can be a grind during season, and we did have some time away and got to reflect and say, man, it's really fun to play rather than watch everyone else play. At the same time, there is no book, there is no guarantee how you're going to come back, when you're going to come back, and if you're going to be able to make it far enough where it can pay off. And right now, I think defensively, the last 2 games were a lot better than we were prior to them.
Our next question comes from Curtis Quillen. Curtis, your line is now open.
Hey, Scott, congratulations to get a win against a good team, but with such a drastic style difference than anything you guys have seen this season. How much more does that relieve some nerves that you guys might have between games going into the Sweet 16?
No, I don't think anything relieves nerves during March Madness. I mean, nobody wants to stop playing. No one wants to go home. And in a quick prep, playing against an offense that you haven't seen and they run it so well, they don't beat themselves, a lot to be concerned about. But I think the preparation our guys put into the game is where the game was won for us. And hats off to, I mean, we have a player-led team. Those guys buy in. They were locked in, and that gave us a chance to be good today.
And how much special was this win to get back to the Sweet 16 for the first time in a while, and the first time with really anybody who's on this roster now?
Well, I can tell you, being back in the NCAA tournament after last year and so many people not having a chance to experience it, but so many new guys, because I mean, a lot of times people that are playing a lot of minutes are upperclassmen, so they graduate. If they're young, usually they turn pro. So a lot of first-year guys in the NCAA tournament, so a lot of jitters, a lot of nerves in that first game. I thought this game we had settled down a lot more, but I know everyone's really excited. I mean, you grow up living with college basketball. March Madness is what it's all about, and it's such a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Our next question comes from Chuck Carlton. Chuck, your line is open.
Chuck Carlton, Dallas Morning News. Scott, you weren't at times playing your best basketball in the second half, but every time Wisconsin cut it to 7, you guys were able to answer. What does that say about this team?
Well, first and foremost, when we had that lead at halftime, we went in the locker room, and great teams don't go away. And Wisconsin, we knew was going to make numerous runs. They weren't going away. But I thought our players, like you said, every time they had a big shot or we needed a big play, our guys came up with it. And at the end of the day, very similar to the end of the half. I mean, they hit that 3, and then Adam hits that 3. And we did a great job answering today. And that was a big momentum play with Adam's 3 before the half. It was a great pass by Davion, too, to pitch ahead instead of just chucking it up like a lot of times people do.
Our next question comes from John Werner. John, your line is open.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, you mentioned before the last game you thought there were some nerves. Did you see more of a comfort level today? Especially, it seemed to really show during the second part of the first half where everything was really going well.
Most definitely. I mean, with 4 turnovers, normally nerves lead to turning the ball over, and I thought our guys did a great job taking care of the basketball. Every coach in the country would take 4 turnovers and smile every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Our next question comes from Kendall Kaut. Kendall, your line is open.
Hey, Scott. John picks up his 3rd foul in the first half. What did Matt Meyer's ability to switch screens and do so much offensively give you all today?
Well, Matt was huge with John in foul trouble. And again, you got to have depth and you got to have multiple scores. We have a lot of people who are capable of getting us 20. And it's not your night every night. Macio's been on a tear. Tonight he didn't shoot it as well. And that's the great thing of having depth, different people to pick players up. And we have guys that really do a good job creating for others too. So if they're not shooting, they can defend and they can help us in other ways.
Our next question comes from Zach from the New York Post. Zach, your line is open.
Zach Braziller, New York Post. Coach, what do you see defensively that's so different, today and in your first tournament game that maybe compared to the end of the regular season?
Well, when we first came back after that 3-week pause, basically it was 14 days. We played 6 games. I think we were on the road 9 to 14 days, traveled like 3,500 miles. So you're just prep, play, recover, prep, play, recover, and there's no practice time. So we never really had a chance. And if you look at it, let's say you shoot one time in 3 weeks, you're not going to be a good shooter. Well, same thing with defense. And defense is 5-on-5, so it's rotations. It's kind of like trying to run your offense or set plays without going 1-on-0. Your timing's all off. So defensively, we just had a lot of errors, a lot of breakdowns, and we really needed, after that Oklahoma State loss in the Big 12 tournament, we needed some practice days. And really tribute our success of coming back to our upperclassmen. It's a player-led team. They bought in. We needed to practice well. We needed to practice hard. We needed to get better. And a lot of times coaches can say we need to do something, but if players don't give it 100% and they're not bought in, it doesn't work. And they really got better, and our defensive rotations, our defensive errors are way down compared to where they were when we came back from the pause.
That from Scott Drew in his post-game press conference against Wisconsin yesterday. Baylor picking up the win in Indianapolis at Hinkle Fieldhouse. And Scott with post-game. Armstrong and I were just talking. There is something just different, just amazingly different about NCAA March Madness tournament time press conferences, post-game, pre-game press conferences with the March Madness stuff in the background, and just the pageantry of the tournament in itself. And then you get that from Scott Drew yesterday against Wisconsin, breaking down their win and a little bit about the upcoming matchup with Villanova. All right, I am Drake Toll. That is Armstrong Sims. When we come back from this commercial break, Matthew Postins is going to join us from Heartland College Sports. Matthew's talking all things Big 12 and the Big 12 teams that are still in March Madness vying for a trip to the National Championship Final Four, Elite 8, Sweet 16, and the rest of the rounds that are ensuing. Again, Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims. When we come back, Matthew Postins joins the show. This is Up Tempo.
Sweet, sweet victory and sweet, sweet 16. The Bears are still dancing after a solid 79-55 win over Hartford and a 76-63 win over Wisconsin to secure their spot as one of the last 16 teams alive in March Madness. Baylor will meet Villanova on Saturday with a place in the Elite 8 on the line. The winner of Saturday's game will face either Arkansas or Cinderella Oral Roberts. On the women's side, Baylor obliterated Jackson State 101-52 in round 1 in San Antonio. Kim Mulkey and company now have their sights set on 7-seed Virginia Tech in round 2. Elsewhere in Baylor sports, the baseball team dropped 2 hard-fought and tight games against number 10 Texas to start the weekend, but bounced back to absolutely hammer the Longhorns 11-2 on Sunday. The softball team split a pair of games against Houston, falling 3-1 on Saturday and securing a 2-1 walk-off win on Sunday. And the women's tennis team notched a pair of hard-earned victories over the weekend with a 4-3 win over number 32 Oklahoma and a 6-1 win over number 31 Oklahoma State. The men's tennis team knocked off Louisiana and Dallas Baptist 6-1 and 7-0 respectively. The women's golf team also finished 5th at the Mountain View Collegiate Classic in Saddlebrook, Arizona. And lest we forget, 3-seed Texas fell to 11-seed Abilene Christian on Saturday to end the Longhorns' season. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Bird Culture Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culture Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culture Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new, pre-owned Bird Culture Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership. Online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culture Ford.
The holidays are here, and I have a simple question for you. Will you weigh as much more or less than you do right now when the holidays are over? Why not end the year in better shape than when you started and create momentum for 2021? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has numerous options for stocking stuffer gifts with gift cards for gym or tennis membership, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, tennis lessons, and personal training. Perhaps a gift for a client, a family member, or a friend. You just need to walk through the front door to change your life. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. Spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation. A tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So get the best and healthiest Christmas gift you can for someone or yourself. It's time to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points and may God have mercy on your soul.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
Back in the Petty Clinical OT Bears Den, Drake Toll and Armstrong Sims, your Monday afternoon. We are right now a half hour away from Oklahoma and Gonzaga squaring off in the round of 32. A trip to the Sweet 16 is on the line, and on the show to help us break down all things Big 12 in the NCAA tournament is Matthew Postins of Heartland College Sports. Matthew, thanks for coming on as always.
Hey, thanks, Drake. Appreciate it.
So, Matthew, we just learned off the air a small, crazy tidbit about your life that has to do with Hands on a Hard Body, which is a pretty popular show that the folks at home are watching. Can you give us some insight before we go too in-depth on what exactly that is?
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with Hands on a Hard Body, that was a contest that started in Longview, Texas back in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was put on by a radio station, KYKX, one of the country stations there. I just happened to internship at KYKX in the summer of 1993, and I had to help them run and judge that contest for a couple of days. It's as insane as you think it is. 40-something people trying to keep their hand on a pickup truck for 48, 72 hours so they can take it home with them and not have a car payment for the next 5-6 years.
That is unbelievable. We were, for the folks at home, Armstrong and I were bantering in the studio about crazy documentaries like Tiger King and Hands on a Hard Body. And I asked Matthew at random if he had even seen Hands on a Hard Body. And his direct response was, "Seen it. I lived it." Wow.
Yeah.
What a way to start the interview today. You learn something new every Monday when you have Matthew Postins on. Matthew, looking at just the games across the weekend, we've yet to break down the round of 32 games with you and even that round of 64. But let's go ahead and start with the Big 12's performance in round one. I mean, 6 of 7 teams moving on, and the one team that I thought was a lock to win ends up losing. How about that?
Yeah, I think as a conference, they were very happy with that. I would have been if I'd have been Bob Bowlesby and the rest of the power brokers in the Big 12. I thought all 6 teams that won played well. They seemed to set themselves well up for the next round. Texas,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, as well as they have played all year, a veteran team, a veteran group of guards. Yes, ACU, terrific defensive team. Highest turnover rate in NCAA basketball. I got to see them a lot in the Southland Conference because I went to SFA. So I knew they were a good team going in. But you've got 3 very experienced guards who know how to handle the ball. Matt Coleman said it best after the game. I failed him, as in Shaka Smart. I failed him because he had a bunch of turnovers in that game. They had 22. The real shame of it for UT is if they had just controlled the ball a little bit more, they shot well in that game. ACU shot horribly. I think they became the first team to ever win an NCAA tournament game shooting less than 30% from the floor. So, you've gone from feeling really good about Texas to now there being questions about Shaka Smart's job again, which just kind of stinks because Shaka's done such a fine job with that team. But, they've got a lot of questions to answer this offseason, not the least of which is, will Kai Jones stay? Will Greg Brown stay? Will any of those seniors stay? He's got a pretty good class in queue to come in, but there's going to be a lot of turnover at UT, regardless of whether Shaka Smart's there or not.
That certainly, I had UT in a lot of my brackets going to the Final Four because I just said history. Let's just throw history out the window and finally ride with Texas this time. Lo and behold, they fall to ACU in a game which they didn't necessarily control, but they certainly could have won it in the end, and it just fell into ACU's lap, the win in the round of 64, and ACU will compete again today against UCLA. Elsewhere in the Big 12, looking at yesterday's slate, I was really confident, Matthew, in West Virginia, and I was really confident in Texas Tech, and neither of those teams were able to pull off wins.
Yeah, I was too. It's funny how all 3 of those games that ended up being losses for the Big 12, they started out almost the same way. The Big 12 team fell behind big. You include Oklahoma State in that too. And they had to rally and they had to fight and claw and just accelerate to try and get back into the game. And then all 3 of them just could not get over that last little bit they needed to get over to take the lead and potentially win the game. I mean, West Virginia just had a lot of trouble with Syracuse's 2-3 zone. I think I expected that. I didn't expect the level of trouble they had because that was a very aggressive 2-3 zone that Jim Boeheim put together for Syracuse. Texas Tech, they did a good job at slowing down Moses Moody, but Justin Smith just killed him inside. He had a fantastic game for the second game in the tournament. And then with Oklahoma State, an old friend of theirs, Maurice Kalou, who was a part of their program a couple years ago and left for Oregon State, lo and behold, he comes off the bench and has 15 points in the first half when Ethan Thompson, who at one point was going to go to West Virginia, had to go to the bench with 2 fouls. And that put Oregon State in the driver's seat the rest of the game. Even though Oklahoma State made it a really close game a couple of times, that was enough to keep them ahead. And that was just kind of the theme of the day, aside from the Baylor game, the Big 12 team falling behind, trying to catch up, and just not quite closing the deal.
Matthew, I really believed that they were all favorable matchups, the Big 12 teams. I mean, even the closest one from a seeding standpoint being Arkansas and Texas Tech, and I thought the underdog Texas Tech would not have an issue defensively with stopping Arkansas, and while it was a lower scoring game than the Hogs are used to, Texas Tech was still a step behind in losing by 2. But what do you make? I mean, is it just the parity of March or how good other conferences are? I mean, how did the Big 12 lose 3 teams yesterday in games that each of them were favored?
Yeah, I think it's really just the vagaries of the tournament. I mean, West Virginia and Syracuse know each other well from their Big East days. Texas Tech and Arkansas know each other well from their SWC days. You're absolutely right about Tech. That game really fell the way they wanted it to from a scoring standpoint. They wanted a low-scoring game, and they just couldn't get that last basket they needed to tie or win the game. Oklahoma State, I think their youth caught up to them just a little bit. I think they were kind of waiting for Cade Cunningham to really become Cade Cunningham, and he had a good second half, but he didn't quite have that great second half that we're used to seeing from him. Part of that was because of Oregon State. They did a really good job of bracketing him and defending him, but there was a little bit of just kind of looking around the court and waiting for him to kind of rise up, and it never quite happened. And, a lot of it was just matchups. All 3 of the first round games were against teams from mid-major conferences. Now you're playing 3 games against teams from Power 5 conferences, and that's a level up in competition. And, you get into those games, even if it's a 6-3 or it's a 4-12 like it was with Oregon State and Oklahoma State, it becomes kind of a pick 'em game. And that's really what it boiled down to, I think, for me on Sunday.
The Baylor team that did end up escaping as Oregon finishes off Iowa 95-80, the final score in that one, and Oregon moves on to the Sweet 16 past 2-seed Iowa. Dana Altman picking up another win and advancing yet again in March Madness past Luka Garza and the Hawkeyes, whose season is now over. For the other Big 12 team, though, that competed yesterday, the Baylor Bears, things ended up going their way. I think Baylor looked like their old selves in the first half, especially against Wisconsin. What did you see, Matthew, in that game that you liked from Baylor?
I think they came out and they set the tone right away. That was the big takeaway from me. Like you said, they came out, they were really good defensively. They made Wisconsin work for everything. They made them work the shot clock. Wisconsin's not a big up-tempo team to begin with, but to force a team like that to use the entire shot clock on almost every possession to try and get something going offensively, it really puts a premium on them being able to shoot the ball. And they didn't shoot well in the first half especially. So I think Baylor did exactly what they needed to do in that game. They came out and they set a tone. We're the superior team. We're the better defensive team. We're the better shooting team. And, Matthew Mayer coming off the bench and playing a great game for them to go along with Jared Butler and Davion Mitchell. It just shows you how many options Baylor has offensively that they can kill you with. But it also showed you that their defense is right there. It's going to be right there in your face the entire tournament. Now the way that whole bracket has kind of, happened, Villanova without Colin Gillespie, their best player, they've had a really good run, but I don't think they're Baylor's equal at this point. And then it's Arkansas or Oral Roberts. Wouldn't you just love a Baylor Oral Roberts Elite Eight? Wouldn't you just love that?
I mean, the Scott Drew Bowl, it's either Baylor or Oral Roberts, which is the Scott Drew Bowl, or Baylor and Arkansas, which is my hometown and, home state school against Baylor, the school that I currently attend. So either way you slice it, it's going to be interesting for myself and those here in Waco. But how about Big 12 teams today in action? You got Oklahoma and Kansas both. OU in 20 minutes tips off against Jalen Suggs, Drew Timme and company with Gonzaga. And I really think, Oklahoma's going to have their hands full, obviously, with a really athletic Gonzaga team. But, senior laden. If there's anything that's going to get you by somebody in March, it's an old team and a great coach like Lon Kruger.
Yeah, they're an experienced team. Lon Kruger is really good at exploiting matchups. Those things are going to help them. That said, when you put Gonzaga's front court against Oklahoma's front court, there's no contest. Gonzaga has the better group of players, and I think that's going to be the difference today. For Oklahoma to win, they're going to have to shoot incredibly well. We're talking 50, 40, 80 kind of hash from the field, the three and the free throw line. They're going to have to keep their turnovers below 10, and they're going to have to hope that Gonzaga is a little bit off. Gonzaga doesn't have to come out and play a bad game, especially if Oklahoma plays like that, but they need Gonzaga to not quite be Gonzaga, not be peak Gonzaga today. If those things can happen, Oklahoma has a chance to win. If any one of those things doesn't happen, then I'm pretty sure Gonzaga moves on to the Sweet 16 and they just keep on rolling. And that regional now, as I look at the bracket, Creighton, Ohio, USC, Kansas on the other side, along with Oregon, who you just said advanced. It's setting up very well for them right now to get to the Final Four. And how about the Pac-12? I mean, a conference that we've been just beating on all season as uncredible in the Power Five. And every one of their teams to this point has advanced to the Sweet 16.
Yeah. I mean, I was ready for the Big East. I thought the Big East is better than the Pac-12 this season. Lo and behold, I mean, the Pac-12 is just rolling through folks right now. And 77.3% of people had Iowa moving on to the Sweet 16, and it's just not going to happen. Another bracket buster with them going down to Oregon today. So we have the Oklahoma-Gonzaga conversation. How about the USC-Kansas conversation? The Pac-12 has been so deadly. Should I go ahead and put my mortgage down on old USC today?
I don't know if you want to put the mortgage down, but USC is a really complete team. Might be the best team Andy Enfield has had at USC. They're more than just Evan Mobley inside, who's a mobile 7-footer who may well be on his way to the NBA, along with Cade Cunningham at Oklahoma State and a couple of these other freshmen we've been watching all season. They're a balanced offensive team. They're good defensively. I think they match up well with Kansas. Sounds like Jalen Wilson is in Indianapolis today. So it sounds like they'll have him back. How much they get out of him, I have no idea. David McCormick had a really good game for them coming off of COVID on Saturday, but he needed a half to kind of get his legs under him. So I wouldn't expect Jalen Wilson to start today. I'd expect him to come off the bench and then maybe play all the second half because they're going to need all 5 of their starters to have good games. For Kansas to win, McCormick's got to help you. Agbaji's got to help you. Christian Brown's got to help you too. He's been kind of a forgotten guy the last couple of weeks in this team offensively. He's a good 3-point shooter, a good rebounder. They need him to come up and have a big game as well. They can beat USC, but USC can just as easily beat them. I feel like it's a pick'em game, and right now, late in the day, it's the last game of the night. It's the last Sweet 16 berth. Kansas is so, has such a dearth of depth right now that I kind of lean toward USC at this point.
So you got the winner of that one will face Oregon in the Sweet 16. Creighton, Ohio are squaring off today. UCLA, Abilene Christian, Maryland, Alabama. A slew of games going on to decide who's going to go to the Sweet 16. On the other side, the Baylor-Villanova matchup. I mean, do you still have full confidence, Matthew, that Baylor makes it to a Final Four or maybe the national championship game with the way the bracket is shaking out right now?
Given the way this bracket is shaked out, yeah, I see them getting to the Final Four. It's not to say Villanova is not a good team without Connor Gillespie, but he changes their dynamic when he's on the floor. And with him being out for the whole season, Villanova goes from being a top 5 team to being a top 15, top 20 team. So they can find ways to manufacture offense and play Baylor straight up. But they don't have the arsenal of weaponry that they might have had if Gillespie hadn't gotten hurt. So, I think it'll be a tough game for Baylor, but I think that's a game they're going to be able to win. And then you go into Arkansas, which I firmly believe Arkansas will beat Oral Roberts, but what do I know? I didn't have Oral Roberts and moving on past Ohio State. But, Arkansas is a much better defensive team than I think they've been given credit for. The team that I watched Tech play on Sunday was very good defensively. You've got Moses Moody, you've got Justin Smith, you've got a really good quality starting 5 that can put up points. They're a team that could give Baylor trouble. But again, Baylor's playing at such a peak form right now. I'm not sure Arkansas has enough to overcome them. What I'm interested in is, Baylor and Arkansas playing Sunday. They don't play again until Saturday. It's a full week. Usually it's 4 or 5 days between the second round and the Sweet 16. I wonder if that additional day or two helps either one of those teams or hurts either one of those teams.
Looking forward to the Final Four as I'm looking at the possible matchups for Baylor. I mean, who knows? Loyola Chicago, Oregon State, Syracuse, or Houston. If you would have told me that it's one of those four teams that's going to make the Final Four, I would have probably said you're crazy. But, I mean, what do I know? And now one of those has to do it. What are the odds it's not Houston? Pretty high with the way that those other three are playing right now, oddly enough. But, I mean, is there a certain team out of that four, out of that quad, that you think could really give Baylor trouble? I mean, Loyola Chicago, obviously they're sneaky. Oregon State, I don't know a ton about. And Syracuse has Jim Boeheim. Houston's been spotty and almost lost to Syracuse. I mean, what are the odds that Baylor really does go to the national championship in the end of this thing?
I think they're pretty good. I mean, I would imagine Houston will get out of that Midwest region. I wouldn't put it past Syracuse, but, I think Houston gets out of there. Houston is a really good offensive team. Quentin Grimes has really kind of set a pace for them this season, the former Kansas player. And, it's interesting because it's an in-state matchup. They don't know each other well, but they kind of do because their paths cross at various times. They're an up-tempo team. Baylor likes being an up-tempo team, so that helps from a matchup standpoint. I don't know enough about Houston's front court to say if they match up well with Chama Chachua and Flo Thamba. But, that'd be a fun national semifinal game to watch, a very offensive game where I think Baylor's defense would probably end up claiming the day. So their path to a Final Four and a national championship game, to me, looks a lot better than it did 3 days ago when this tournament started, just by virtue of everything else that has happened on that side of the bracket to this point.
Coach Sampson is certainly one of the best ones to ever do it, and coaching can get you so far in this tournament. So with that, Baylor moving forward and the way they're playing against Wisconsin, Matthew, what do you want to see? What do you have to see based on Baylor's performance against Wisconsin and Hartford? What more needs to be there for this team to win a national championship?
I like the way they're getting a little more out of Thamba and Chama Chachua, specifically on those alley-oops to the basket. That's a little wrinkle they've kind of added the last couple of weeks. And, against most teams, that's going to help them out because you're so focused on Butler and Mitchell and Teague and even Mayer that you kind of forget about those guys on the backside. And they kind of took advantage of that against Wisconsin on Sunday, but they didn't convert enough of those shots. They need to get better at converting those because if they can get 2 or 3 of those, in the first half of the game, that's really going to help, just open up the defenses to where now they got to worry about backside, alley-oops as opposed along with 3-pointers and driving to the basket. It's just another piece of the puzzle they can add to frustrate teams. But if you look at the way they played the first 2 games, if I'm Scott Drew, I'm like, I don't want to change anything right now because we're playing great defense. Our guards are shooting well. Our forwards are giving us what they need. Mayer's playing great off the bench. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But if you can get that wrinkle, those little alley-oops in there that they kind of converted against Wisconsin, if you can add that wrinkle and make it consistent, that's really going to frustrate teams.
I love it. I think Baylor's got a legitimate shot, and I'm glad that you do too, Matthew Postins. Bear Games question of the day today. So you're an SFA alum. It's your Twitter header. You bleed it. So you would know better than maybe anyone if SFA had to have a sister gene. I reference this as like a living, breathing human mascot. If SFA had that living, breathing human mascot, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. We've got this, there's this GIF that's out there on Twitter of this old woman, and I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. She's probably in her 60s. She lives in Nacogdoches. And we've got the ESPN3 contract, so we show our home games on ESPN3, and they do cutaway shots of fans every once in a while. And one night they caught her, dancing, like this. So we use that GIF a lot in SFA chains. If anybody's our sister Jean, it's probably her.
I love it. It's almost a super fan. It's that, hey, if one person is going to be the rallying point of a team as a human mascot, who would it be? And so we're going with the dancing GIF lady from Stephen F. Austin for the Lumberjacks. How about then we've got we're doing our movie madness bracket today, our Disney movie madness bracket, and so you may not have seen these. I think not a single guest or caller we've had so far has seen all of these movies combined. But how about Toy Story 2 or Ratatouille? Are you familiar with either of those?
I'm familiar with Toy Story 2, so I'll take Toy Story 2.
Lock it in. Finding Dory or WALL-E? Did you see those?
I've seen WALL-E. I'll take that one.
Love it. Taking WALL-E and Toy Story 2. Matthew Postins, Heartland College Sports, thanks for joining Up Tempo. As always, breaking things down across Big 12, and hopefully we see you again next week with Baylor in the Final Four.
All right. Thanks, Drake. Appreciate it.
Let's do it. Thanks again, Matthew Postins, Heartland College Sports. When we come back, we're going to watch highlights from baseball's win against Texas on Sunday and hear from Coach Steve Rodriguez. We're also going to break things down, not just in baseball, but in softball, where Baylor got a walk-off win against Houston on Sunday, and see highlights from the women's basketball victory over Jackson State to advance to the round of 32. I'm Drake Toll. That's Armstrong Sims, and this right here is Up Tempo.
Sweet, sweet victory in Sweet 16. The Bears are still dancing after a solid 79-55 win over Hartford and a 76-63 win over Wisconsin to secure their spot as one of the last 16 teams alive in March Madness. Baylor will meet Villanova on Saturday with a place in the Elite Eight on the line. The winner of Saturday's game will face either Arkansas or Cinderella Oral Roberts. On the women's side, Baylor obliterated Jackson State 101-52 in round 1 in San Antonio. Kim Mulkey and company now have their sights set on 7-seed Virginia Tech in round 2. Elsewhere in Baylor sports, the baseball team dropped 2 hard-fought and tight games against number 10 Texas to start the weekend, but bounced back to absolutely hammer the Longhorns 11-2 on Sunday. The softball team split a pair of games against Houston, falling 3-1 on Saturday and securing a 2-1 walk-off win on Sunday. And the women's tennis team notched a pair of hard-earned victories over the weekend with a 4-3 win over number 32 Oklahoma and a 6-1 win over number 31 Oklahoma State. The men's tennis team knocked off Louisiana and Dallas Baptist 6-1 and 7-0, respectively. The women's golf team also finished 5th at the Mountain View Collegiate Classic in Saddlebrook, Arizona. And lest we forget, 3-seed Texas fell to 11-seed Abilene Christian on Saturday to end the Longhorns' season. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Nitschke Group Insurance Agency. With the Nitschke Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Nitschke Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Nitschke Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care.
And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Paulie, give me some of your tots. No, go find your own. Come on, give me some of your tots.
No, freaking starved. I didn't get to eat anything today.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Brian, don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with Dave all day.
Your place for a Baylor take on your lunch break. Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It's a beautiful Monday. It's a great Monday to have a radio show following Baylor's win against Wisconsin to advance to the Sweet 16. You fools never bet against a Baptist school on a Sunday. How about this? There was a little bit of something on TikTok that I found. I sent it to Armstrong, and I think we're gonna let's analyze this, Armstrong. Let's see what we got. What do you got for us?
Who on the team would you not let your daughter date? Baylor edition.
Who on the team would you not let your daughter date?
Matthew Meyer, for sure.
Who on the team would you not let your daughter date?
Probably be my man Matt, right?
Who on the team would you not let your daughter date?
Matt.
Why?
For sure not Matt.
No. Matt. Liar 100%. Why? Because I just wanted.
What's good with this dude?
He said, why? Because I just wouldn't. He was like, why not? Just look at him. And it's Matthew Meyer just vibing. There are so many videos of Matthew Meyer just in the world that you're just like, what is this guy? I love when Baylor plays on the national scale and the world is watching, because the Matthew Meyer tweets, more commonly known as Baylor guy with a mullet, I freaking hate that guy. Just all of the tweets that come out about Matthew Meyer.
There was this guy on Twitter I was arguing with the other day during the Baylor game, and he tweeted, maybe you sent this, but he tweeted, Baylor is easy to beat. All you got to do is guard number 24. And I just lost it. Like, you're referring to Matt Meyer?
Oh my
just guard Matt Meyer and you win.
Oh my gosh. I swear, Matthew flipping Meyer, man.
We have some more highlights from the game if you want, from the Baylor game.
Oh yeah, check these out. Some slam dunks.
Yeah, I don't even know what. I just
trying to sneak it in. Whoa, here comes the Bears and Scoopah! It's the best part is the war cry.
It's the number 1 seed, 13-1
Matthew Meyer time.
23-2.
That was so good. That was insane. The one-handed. That was when I was getting closer too. That was the nail in the coffin. Did you see that? It bounced off his hand. Watch.
Yeah, he didn't have it.
Another 3 for the Badgers. The other way, can they?
No, that right there, I peed myself. The three-pointer to go in, how loud it is in there.
Finish with a flourish.
And Kevin Harlan on the call too was just like, could not have been better.
Love that.
So good.
Go freaking Bears. Arkansas and Oral Roberts in the Elite Eight. Or for the Elite Eight. All right, check this out. Women's basketball got to win against...
Nope. Any other sport. Do any other sport right now.
Women's softball got to win against Houston with a walk-off. Check out the highlights in which pitcher Sydney Holman-Manziel went for a gajillion piece when it comes to strikeouts.
Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. You're getting a look at Patton F. Hall on the campus of Baylor University. Another beautiful day in Central Texas. The Houston Cougars will look to capitalize on yesterday's 3-1 victory against the Baylor Bears. Big improvement.
Absolutely.
big at-bats here to extend the life.
McLaughlin to the gap. Aspen Howie can't get it. Gilbert around third. She'll score. Lady Bears up early 1-0. Caesar alongside Baylor Green Kelly with that. Holman Mansell, that one gets away. Calazos goes to the backstop, dives, and makes the play. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Huge strikeout for Holman Mansell, her 5th of the afternoon. Strike 3, 7th strikeout of the afternoon for the junior from Belton, Texas. She is balling right now for some insurance right here. 1-0. Ellis drives it deep to left center field. Under it is Stuart Vaughn. Makes the play, but then drops it. And they're going to say that she's safe at second base. Here's the pitch. Avalos, base hit. Lady Bears will win.
What hit.
Goose McGlone comes home, and the Lady Bears come out of the dugout. Party time here at Getterman. Lady Bears escape with this series now, 1-1, or 1-1, excuse me. High fives all around.
Boom, baby, the walk-off. How about it? Baylor taking the win over Houston. It's a good Houston team, too. They beat Baylor on Saturday, but that's the same Houston team, actually, that beat Oklahoma State, number 7 Oklahoma State, the day before that. Oklahoma and Gonzaga are tipping off right now from Hinkle Fieldhouse, too. Hinkle Fieldhouse, historic little place. How about this? Baseball team against La Tejas. Baseball in Texas square off on Saturday. Baseball had dropped the first two in close games. I think it was a 2-run loss and a 1-run loss on Saturday and Sunday. And then, well, folks, this happened.
You're watching Big 12 now on ESPN+. It is Game 3 of Big 12 opening weekend for the 10th-ranked Texas Longhorns and the Baylor Bears playing their 13th straight game at home, trying to salvage a win and claim their first Big 12 victory of this 2021 campaign. 2-1. Baylor's going to strike first on this Sunday matchup. Cade Currington will bring them both home.
Captain Zuby to chase.
The 2-2 from Hayden Kettler. Got him. Third strikeout through fourth, second. Altini gets it started. Could not turn 2, and a second run will score as a result. Kettler looking to get out of this inning. Got him. 5th strikeout for Kettler. Might be eyeing law school, but will find his 3rd hit of the day. Richardson will go from 1st to 3rd. Oh, and Rodriguez running in his place. I think we've both done that now.
Yeah.
0-2, punched out towards right. That'll drop in, and the merry-go-round in motion. Everybody advances 90 feet. Wessner will keep the good times going in Waco. Cardozo-Oquendo comes home. Wessner will follow over to second base. And Cardozo-Oquendo in his second year as the Baylor third baseman. First pitch he sees, he loves. This one will get down in the gap. Rodriguez comes home, and Oquendo is in with an RBI double. Will it hang up long enough for Antico? It will not. Tack on another run.
One pitch, all needed for Posada.
So Baylor will take its first victory in Big 12.
So yeah, Baylor's 1-2 to start the Big 12 season. That's not great. It could be better, right? But they got a win against number 10 Texas in and Baylor throws their ace on Sunday. Kettler is their ace. They throw him on Sunday instead of Friday, and that's a little unconventional. Baylor had a real shot to win Friday's game and a real shot to win Saturday's game, though. So hey, that's all right. I mean, everybody, you want to win, but they're not going to pan out, and you got to be really excited. This Baylor team looks a whole lot better than they did against UTSA or in the Bluebell, whatever it was, in Dallas, because those were both terrible. This was Coach Steve Rodriguez, though, following the Texas win, breaking down his squad's 11-2 victory.
Had a good win today. Is Hayden kind of the perfect Sunday guy to have? Because obviously, the last couple weekends he finishes off a sweep, for your team, but he seems like a good guy also that, can stave off a sweep too. He was very efficient today.
Well, we were just talking about it as coaches. He faced 24 hitters and he threw 23 first pitch strikes. That's pretty consistent. And that's one of the things that he is. He's older. He understands who he is. He doesn't try to be anything more than he is. He understands that who he is can be successful. And he's a perfect guy for any team. And that's what's great about it is when you can have somebody who's consistent, put them in a situation where they have an opportunity to succeed, which he does because he understands who he is and he has confidence in himself. That's a perfect guy for any team. Absolutely.
And, your approach today at the plate, you were going up against a guy that obviously came in with a lot of strikeout numbers, but it seemed like you guys were very selective, from the outset, and it worked out for you.
No, I thought our offense just did a great job. We knew this guy had a really good changeup, and he was going to be tough against lefties. And so we put Cade Currington in there at the very beginning because he always takes really good swings and he has a good opportunity. He stays on plane really well. And, his swing would actually do really well on that changeup. And, first thing, he smashes the ball to right. We get a couple runs and that's kind of the table setter for us. And it was a great thing for our team and our offense to kind of get going. But I thought our guys just did a really good job, forcing contact, putting ball in play when we got 2 strikes. Overall, they just did a really good job offensively, putting the ball in play in some offensive counts, getting the pitchers' counts up, seeing a lot of pitches. So, I thought we did a pretty good job offensively today.
It's a long Big 12 season, and you never know how one win will count in the final standings. But, it seems like it's always significant. You don't ever want to get swept. You feel like this was a good way to close the weekend?
No, every win is important. What you don't want to happen is, and I tell them, I go, you look back during the season and you realize, okay, this game should have been won. This game should have been won. And next, it affects you going to Big 12 play. It affects you going into postseason play. And that's one of the biggest things is every win is important. Every one of them counts. And you want to make sure you take advantage of those opportunities to win. And whenever you can stave off, a situation about getting swept, and coming out and beating them up like we did today, 11-2, I think that's always a good sign for us.
It was early in the game. I'm trying to remember what inning it was now. I remember thinking about it at the time, but Pineda was up at the plate. You guys had runners on base. And you called the guys over for a little conference and kind of talked about that situation. He ends up working a walk. What was just kind of your message to the guys in that situation?
I can't tell you everything, Bryce. To be honest, there was a lot of things going on at that time. Jared McKenzie had just gotten a big, huge rundown. It was back and forth, and he was running all over the place. And so I just told him, I said, hey, I brought him all over, one, because I wanted him to have a chance to kind of catch his breath. Because, for people who haven't done that, the start-stop, it's like doing suicides in basketball. It's kind of taxing. So I wanted to make sure that he had a chance to catch his breath. And I just brought to him a couple different opportunities. Hey, if this count arises, we might do this. If this happens, we might do that. And it just happened that none of those counts kind of worked and the situation didn't arise. But I just wanted to make sure they were ready for anything that might happen.
Hayden, just a good win all around. It seemed like another day where you were able to, kind of fill up the strike zone, work quickly. Did you feel pretty good about your day today?
Yeah, I think today was a great job of execution with Andy, Coach Strauss, and just calling pitches that are going to keep guys from swinging at first pitches, or if they do swing, not putting a good swing on it. And so to be able to mix speeds all day and to throw all 3 pitches for a strike was really what helped me have success and get ahead of hitters early. And once you're ahead, I think we said this last week, but once you're ahead, the opponent's batting average just goes down each strike you get ahead. So that was the goal today, and I think we did a pretty good job of executing.
I think you've talked about this before. You don't necessarily mind what day you pitch on, but have you kind of settled into this Sunday role? I mean, the last couple of weekends you finish off a sweep. Today you keep your team from getting swept. I mean, it seems like you're comfortable pitching on the last day of the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever day I'm pitching, I take the same mindset into the game. But to go out there on Sunday, a lot of times it's been a long weekend. It's kind of hard to get yourself and the team up and ready to go. But since I've been here for 5 years, I know how important every game is. And so I think it pays off well to have a guy like myself who's been around for a while and can kind of bring some energy and get guys, to lock in and realize that we still gotta show up and we still gotta win this game. So, whatever day I throw on, like I said, I take the same mindset, but it is nice to kind of get in a rhythm and when I get in a groove of things. So I'm liking how things are going.
All right, that was Steve Rodriguez and Hayden Kettler following the win for Baylor in their game on Sunday against University of Texas. The number 10 Longhorns going down in that one. How about this? The Lady Bears picking up a win. Baylor women's basketball yet again advancing the tournament for the 17th straight year, 101-52 against Jackson State. Check this out, the highlights from Kim Mulkey and Company's win against Jackson State that we'll break down a little bit more tomorrow. Moon Urson, career high, 24 points. Here it is.
And she does a lot of her work down there in the paint, as you see, getting a steal, getting out.
Euro step off the window for Melissa Smith.
And here, just look at the defense, not staying behind, getting around, then getting out. Look how fast she knows the ball's coming to her. Melissa gets out to the race.
Offensive rebound and the stick back by Amisha Williams, senior out of Gulfport, Mississippi.
It does, and that Baylor length, I'm going to talk about it a lot because it's hard to score on long, athletic players.
Nice ball fake there by Moon. It's impressive just what the Jackson State team has had to overcome. Obviously, the COVID situation for all the team. NC State is the other number 1 seed, and so is South Carolina. South Carolina's coming up next on ESPN. And then UConn will follow. This was a Baylor program that was not successful before her arrival. Longtime assistant at Louisiana Tech, where she played, and an and 1 here, and a flex.
She is having a game, and that's what you want out of your leader. Look at this play. I would flex too. Look at that.
Riverwalk region. The entire tournament coming your way from Texas. You've got the Riverwalk, the Mercado, the Hemisphere, and the Alamo regions.
And if you're Jackson State, look at this right here, this fast break. What I don't like is look at the players for Jackson.
And possibly a date with Stanford in the second round for them. Cardinal face Utah Valley later tonight. Still some Pac-12 after dark, even in the NCAA tournament on ESPN.
And they played great today.
Very impressive for the 2 seed in the Riverwalk region. They will advance to the second round.
All right, Baylor, Virginia Tech tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Tuesday. We'll have all of the breakdown for that and hear from Kim Mulkey tomorrow. Again, Moon Urson, 24 points, and Alyssa Smith, a double-double with 18 points and 10 rebounds. And then Jordan Oliver, 14 points, 7 boards, 3 assists yesterday in Baylor's win against Jackson State, 101-52. All right, we're going to hit a break right here. Armstrong's Minute of Break. When we come back, celebrity birthdays and this day in sports history. You got Oklahoma on top of Gonzaga right now. 17-12. What are the odds? What are the odds the Sooners can pull it off? I'm Drake Toll. That's Armstrong Sims. This is Up Tempo.
Sweet, sweet victory and sweet, sweet 16. The Bears are still dancing after a solid 79-55 win over Hartford and a 76-63 win over Wisconsin to secure their spot as one of the last 16 teams alive in March Madness. Baylor will meet Villanova on Saturday with a place in the Elite Eight on the line. The winner of Saturday's game will face either Arkansas or Cinderella Oral Roberts. On the women's side, Baylor obliterated Jackson State 101-52 in round 1 in San Antonio. Kim Mulkey and company now have their sights set on 7-seed Virginia Tech in round 2. Elsewhere in Baylor sports, the baseball team dropped 2 hard-fought and tight games against number 10 Texas to start the weekend, but bounced back to absolutely hammer the Longhorns 11-2 on Sunday. The softball team split a pair of games against Houston, falling 3-1 on Saturday and securing a 2-1 walk-off win on Sunday. And the women's tennis team notched a pair of hard-earned victories over the weekend with a 4-3 win over number 32 Oklahoma and a 6-1 win over number 31 Oklahoma State. The men's tennis team knocked off Louisiana and Dallas Baptist 6-1 and 7-0 respectively. The women's golf team also finished 5th at the Mountain View Collegiate Classic in Saddlebrook, Arizona. And lest we forget, 3-seed Texas fell to 11-seed Abilene Christian on Saturday to end the Longhorns' season. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up-Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. And this football season, you need to stop by on game day for curbside pickup or stop by their tent next to SicEm365 at Brazos Parking for your pregame refreshment. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy Monday, everybody. Celebrity birthdays in this day in sports history. All right, Armstrong, celebrity birthday number 1, and she watches the show, so you got to be careful with this one.
Okay.
How old is Reese Witherspoon today?
Oh, my. 48. No, she's older. No, 44.
She's 45.
Okay.
She's flattered that you changed it.
I feel okay with that.
She's flattered that you changed it.
Good.
How about Tyler Oakley? He's a YouTube star.
Okay, then like 22.
32 for a YouTube star. It's kind of washed up, yeah?
Yeah.
J.J. Watt, if you will. J.J. Watt. How old's he today?
29.
He's 32. J.J. Watt's getting up there. He is now an Arizona Cardinal. There's a bunch of other YouTube stars and TikTok stars. Dave Portnoy's birthday is today. Barstool.
Oh, he's going to be 40.
44. William Shatner? No way. No, you're not even going to come close. You're not even going to come remotely close because How old is William Shatner?
William Shatner is 70?
He's 90. William 90. Shatner's 90. That's unrealistic.
Have you seen that man lately?
Yeah, he doesn't look 90.
He does not look 90.
Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele.
Oh, 38.
50. He's 50. James Patterson, the guy that writes the books. James Patterson.
Don't know. 50.
He's 74. James Patterson. And Rick Harrison. Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars.
Oh, yes, that guy. 56.
He's 56. Oh my gosh,
really?
You nailed it.
Oh yeah, I just know these things.
Andrew Lloyd Webber's birthday. Guess what happened this day in sports history?
Grand National.
Nope, not a single. Oh, there is the 69th Grand National. It's the 69th Grand National.
it? Later, guys.
Yeah, it was. I'm Drake Toll. You're Armstrong Sims. I hate that I put that in there. Now we can't break the rules. Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims. Happy Monday, folks. Baylor in the Sweet 16. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. Villanova on Saturday at 6 o'clock. Women's basketball, 6 p.m. against Virginia Tech tomorrow. Again, Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims. This all day today has been Up Tempo. See you at 11 o'clock tomorrow.